All right, Seattle fans, the gloves are off. Techline has the strongest warranty in the business. Give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Take advantage of our easy financing and our summer special. Trust Techline.
Did you know about the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program? You can get an $80 benefit card to spend at local farmers markets. Use it to buy seasonal fruits, vegetables, and honey. Just bring your new SFMNP card with you when you shop. When you make a purchase, the grower will scan your card. Then you'll confirm the purchase with your PIN.
You're all set. Enjoy those tomatoes.
Thank you, I will.
Find participating markets, local contacts, and more info at seniorfmnp.com. That's seniorfmnp.com.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I need a printer for the office.
Staples has the best brands, like HP.
Well, I have some demands.
Oh.
Burton Sales demands it be fast.
HP's Office Jet Pro is super fast.
Megan Marketing demands color prints.
Check.
And Kurt the Controller demands I don't overpay.
With Staples Hot Deals, you get up to 40% off select HP printers.
Oh, great. My job can be...
Demanding?
I was gonna say a lot of fun.
Right now at Staples, save up to 40% on select HP printers, America's most trusted printer brand. Ends 9/28.
At the UPS store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
You know, being out of camp this time of year, you get to see some absolute physical specimens. Guys that have trained all summer to be in the best shape of their life. Now, most of us don't have that kind of time, energy, resources, or genetics to look like some of those guys, but we can certainly look our very best with a little help from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's Mike Salk and I used that program last year to lose 35 pounds. That's right. Lost 35 pounds, and it only took me 8 weeks to do it. Guess what? It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that painful either. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic devised a plan that was right for me. I ate real food that you buy at the grocery store. I lost weight, and I looked and felt my very best. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. So schedule a free, no-obligation consultation right now by going to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Just see if it's right for you. 425-588-0080 is the number, or eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Again, 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's Dolphins-Bills for Thursday Night Football tomorrow. The Finns already have some issues in the backfield. Raheem Mostert has been declared out. Fellow running back Devon Achane will be a game-time decision with an ankle injury. So, fantasy owners, if you have either one of these guys, maybe you snatch Jeff Wilson Jr. or Jalen Wright as a second option. The Mariners fell to the Padres 7-3 in yesterday's series opener. The Bats weren't quiet in this one. Seattle had 10 hits, but they were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. The praise keeps coming in for the Seahawks defensive performance bump. I gotta say, I don't even care what happened in the first half offensively. I mean, I do. I'm a little bit nervous about this offensive line heading into New England on Sunday, but I'm so relieved. Like weight off my shoulders that we saw so much good defensively, because I hate telling the same story over and over and over and over again. I hate talking about the same story. I mean, you and I talk and joke about our Mariners emails about halfway through the season. We were like, yeah, I kind of could have copied and pasted from yesterday.
No,
that's
what I was going to say.
You know?
I was going to say that the Mariners, it's been the same thing with the Mariners all year. For the Seahawks, it's been the same thing the last, 3, 4, maybe even 5 seasons with this defense. So it's refreshing to see them come out and just look different. I mean, from the uniforms to the tempo to the enthusiasm, the big plays, they just look different early in the season. I remember last year there were times where they looked good. right? You play against the New York Football Giants. You're like, okay, maybe they figured it out. No, the Giants are just cheeks. That's why they look like the way they did. Or you win a Monday Night Football game and J. Love comes up with 2 picks, and they gave you moments to where you felt like they could be turning a corner, but they could never. The blinker was on, it was ticking, and then you know what they did? I hate it, right? When you're in that right lane, must turn right, then you change your mind, go, all right, now I got to get over because I want to go straight.
When you're behind that person?
I'm holding up the line.
I hate you.
So that's what they were doing essentially.
Let's talk about the tackling. This is Mark Schlereth with Wyman and Bob.
I thought it might be the best tackling performance I've ever witnessed watching an NFL game by the Seahawks. It just was like either we got a bunch of dudes that have zero athletic ability to break a tackle in space, or they're the greatest tackling team I've ever witnessed. And maybe it's a little combination of both. But I don't know that there was 2, 3, 4 yards after contact in that game by the Broncos. It was such a pathetic performance. From my perspective, from the Broncos' perspective, it was one of the most pathetic performances I've watched. And at the same time, I was marveling at the Seahawks' ability to tackle, the way they broke on balls, the things they broke up.
It feels especially impressive considering that you can't tackle like that in preseason training camp, obviously, and in preseason games you can. But they've had otherwise 3 preseason games where they've gotten to practice all of this, and everything else you're just jumping right into it. It's why you see sloppy defensive play around the league sometimes in week 1. Seattle did not look like that. Bump, when you were watching it, did you see drastic improvement there, or did you just see a really bad Denver offense?
It was both. I wouldn't call the Denver offense really bad. It was just they didn't have the firepower that some of these other teams are going to have, right? When you see Miami and Detroit, it's going to look a bit different. You're going to have Sam Laporta and Reek and all those guys. When you look at the Denver Broncos, I mean, their best receiver was Josh Reynolds. We've seen him as the number 3 receiver for the LA Rams. It's always a combination of both. Reynolds had a long of 25, so there's a big play there. Sutton had a long of 17. In the run game, Nix had a 23-yard run, and then McLaughlin had a 15. But for the most part, things were shut down. I point at the level of talent with Denver's personnel because you can't ignore it, but you still got to go out there and make plays. If you just look at the way they were tackling, the way they were rallying to the football and wrapping guys up, the emotion they were playing with, then I think it doesn't overshadow, but it allows you to give a bit more love to the Seattle defense. But let's not get it twisted. The Denver Broncos, they did what they were supposed to do against the Denver Broncos. This is not one of the more gifted teams offensively. And this week coming up against the Patriots, you're going to get a little bit of the same because you look at the Patriots, it's not like they got just ballers for days over there. Stevenson did have himself a good week. Thank you. You're on my fantasy team. You got Osborne, KJ Osborne, DeMario Douglas, and Tyquan Thornton at the receiver spot. Stacy, do you know who those guys are?
That is negative.
Probably not, right? You got Hunter Henry is the player on offense I think everyone knows, and then Stevenson because he's a running back and a lot of people play fantasy football. You're supposed to dominate teams with this type of personnel. Not even dominate, but just win. This is the NFL. You don't really dominate too many games. So it's always a little bit of both. But if you've watched enough of these Seattle Seahawks, it felt and looked different. They were flying around, making plays. There was hardly any yards after the catch, yards after contact. Them dudes are doing their thing.
If you struggle with tackling, and it felt like the last at least 2 years of this team, particularly last year, there were a lot of missed tackles. When you struggle with tackling, is that coaching? Is it personnel? Like, what was Seattle's issue there? Because obviously, at one point, Pete Carroll had one of the best modern defenses we've ever seen. Same head coach, very, very different results.
It's a mentality. It's personnel, and it is coaching. I don't know how much time they spent on tackling when Pete Carroll was there. Obviously, with the CBA, players aren't allowed to have that much contact anyway. But I think that when you get to this level, it's more of pointing out a little bit of the details and instilling just this almost recklessness that a defense has to play with. And I don't know if people was doing that towards the end of this deal. And then as you get older, you let a couple things slide. You know, like about my third child. My third child gets away with murder sometimes. I just don't have the energy. I'm like, all right, man, that's Jada being Jada. And my oldest son would be like, Dad, you used to be on my head for that. I go, yeah, but you're 14 now, and I'm older now. I'm 38. I was 24 when I had you. It's different. I don't have the energy to jump on every little thing.
I'm just imagining how angry I'd be as a kid if I just hear, it's Jada being Jada. What are you going to do?
Jada.
I'm like, wait, what?
And she's the baby girl.
I was grounded for 2 weeks.
Is what it is. But I think you get some of that. That's why when you're in one spot for 14 years, you salute, but you also lose some details. I look at Mike Tomlin, and he I guarantee you he's lost some type of detail over there. Bill Belichick, the same thing. So when you bring in new personnel, new coaches, and this team just feels younger, I think, the coaching and philosophy has more of an influence on the actual play.
Let's talk about another person, this one an actual player, Daniel Jeremiah, with praise for Boye Mafe.
Dude, I absolutely did. One of the things that I do early on Monday mornings is I'll go through and I'll just go through the sortable statistics, and I'll see, okay, these are the guys that had kind of the most pressures during the week, and I'll go watch all those players because I'm curious not only to see how they're individually playing, but what teams are doing to free some of these guys up. So he showed up near the top of that list. So that was one of the first things I watched, was just a cut up of his pressures. Then I go back and get a chance to go through the whole game and watch the whole game in the all 22. And it's like, I don't know where you stop the list of impressive players for the Seahawks on defense.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I mean, Rayshon Jenkins made a play. Kayvon Wallace, as you mentioned, on 12 snaps, still had a forced fumble in there. Reek Woolen had an interception. Julian Love had an interception. You've mentioned Big Cat Williams is making some big plays. Boye Mafe, I actually, funny enough, did not have on a list coming out of the game of immediate reactions. But what did you see from Boye and the pass rush in general?
I saw Boye look like he understands himself and how to win. And he didn't start playing football until high school. He was a 9th or 10th grader when he started playing. Then he goes to Minnesota. Doesn't turn too many heads until he gets to the Senior Bowl. And the thing that people were saying about Boye Mafe when he left the Senior Bowl was that he just took the coaching. And I think sometimes that's a blessing, not playing football from a very long age or young age and starting late. It's one of the only sports you can do it in is football. And one of the blessings is that you just take all the coaching in, even if it's garbage coaching. Yeah. I didn't start playing until 9th grade, and I had a fullback as my wide receiver coach. He was a fullback for UCLA, came over. Great coach, though. And some of the things he would teach me, I just blindly just lean into it because that's all I knew. As I got older, I started picking out things saying, I don't know if I would do it that way just because I'm getting more reps. With Boye, he's smart enough to take the coaching, and he's athletic enough just to do it full tilt. And in this third year, we're seeing him be more comfortable in who he is. And that's a great thing about athletes, man. Once you know who you are, what you're good at and what you're not good at, it allows you to take the coaching a bit differently. Like Boye knows, I don't know what his weakness is, right? Maybe he's not the fastest. He's quick, but maybe he's not the fastest. He knows he's not going to run down plays from the other side. He has to change some things about his approach when it comes to that. It's good. So that's what I see. I see a football player that is maturing, who doesn't have the years that some of these other guys have, who's taken in this coaching. You had the OG Pete Carroll have you for a couple years, and then you have this new guy, Mike McDonald, influence you. Man, that's a great situation for a guy who's only been playing football, 7-8 years.
Exactly. Daniel Jeremiah was asked a question that I've seen all over the text line for you and I, particularly on Monday following the game, which was, okay, I want to feel good about the defense, but was this great defensive play and true improvement, or was it a really bad Broncos offense? Here's what DJ said.
Well, I think the Seahawks thing is real. I mean, they have real players, at all levels. So there's nothing about that performance that I would say was given to them. Bo Nix didn't play great by any stretch. They didn't really have any vertical passing game. They're going to have to find some of that, for the Broncos to be good offensively. But there was some drops. He ran around and made some plays. I think one of the things about Bo Nix is early in his NFL career, he's going to kind of have to tap into a little bit of the runner side of his game. You go back to Auburn and, he was inconsistent as a passer, but he could run around and make some plays. I think he's going to have to do a little bit of that early in his career as he tries to find his footing.
But Bo Nix averaged something like 5 completed yards per pass, which was the third lowest of any passer with 20 or more completed passes in a game. Just a really weird game overall for the Denver Broncos. That being said, anytime you or I talk about, okay, what was real from a performance, I find myself thinking, well, it doesn't matter if it's a bad team. They've looked awful against bad teams before. Do I need to remind us all about when they lost to Mason Rudolph and the Steelers last year? 30 points a Mason Rudolph-led Steelers team dropped on them. So I mean, yeah, beating a bad offense, that's really important. But this defense, with a lot of the same personnel, has struggled before against also very bad teams.
The first time I played Super Mario Brothers is the easiest game or easiest level in the game, and I still failed once or twice before you get the hang of it.
Okay, but is that the one where it's on the little old Nintendo and you like run and you jump over the tunnels?
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
The first time I played that, I didn't know how to jump, and me and my sister started crying.
Exactly. So I bring it up to point out is you still have to go through it.
These guys didn't cry.
Right? they didn't cry.
I'm a crier.
You still have to go out there and play the game. Just because on paper you got a rookie quarterback, your run game isn't great, you have some receivers that drop some footballs across the middle of the field. So what? You still got to go out and play this game. We saw some upsets in college football this weekend that we're going to talk about. You still got to play the game. Yes, let's not get it twisted. The Denver Broncos are not a great football team. I see them winning maybe 5 games this year. They're in a rebuilding process. They have their quarterback. Give them a couple years, and I think they're more formidable. But for the Seattle Seahawks, they beat a team that's in a rebuild, and you did it with an offense that struggled for about a half of football, and your defense held it down. So now you look at the situations that they were in. All right, the defense, what offense gave up 4 points. Defense had a short field that they're trying to defend. They forced a field goal. Defense did cause 2 turnovers. Yes, he's a rookie, Bo Nix. He's going to turn the football over. You still caused 2 turnovers. They still were where they were supposed to be when it comes to run fits and rallying to the football. Those are the things that you're going to have to do against anybody when you step on the field. So you keep it in perspective. We understand that the Broncos aren't a great team, but we also know that this defense has looked like you know what for 4 or 5 years, no matter who they're playing, like you pointed out. And also, you did this while everyone thought the offense was going to be on point, and they struggled. You're building callous. That's what a season is. You build callous. You get yourself in these situations, and you learn how to work through them. Every week is going to get tougher. The Patriots are going to be tougher than the Broncos. Miami for sure is going to be tougher than both them cats. And then you back it up with the Lions. That's why I said holla at me after like week 3.
Right.
And then we'll really know. But we are seeing indicators that let us believe that they're moving in the right direction.
We wanted to start by spending a lot of time talking about the defense and the praise that the defense was getting. From the 2 voices that I played, Daniel Jeremiah and Mark Schlereth, Mark Schlereth did have something to say about the offense. So I wanted to spend 1 minute here at the end just talking about that. This was the Seahawks' second half offense, what Mark Schlereth saw.
You go in and you say, hey, man, they're playing to this formation or this personnel grouping. This is what they're playing. So here's how we're going to attack that in the context of what we're already running. So, a lot of people think that, you changed, you made a big halftime adjustment. No, you stayed the course. Sometimes it's just a matter of, understanding the pace of the game, understanding what they're doing to you. You're going to have a couple of bad plays here and there, but you're going to adjust to the way they're trying to play you. And then it's just about consistency. Let's continue to stay the course with what we're doing. Let's just execute a little bit better. And all of a sudden, a couple of plays happen for you. The next thing you know, you're rolling a little bit. You put a drive together, you score a touchdown, and, and everything feels a lot better. So, sometimes it's just a matter of staying the course and understanding kind of how people are playing and what they're doing and getting a feel for it.
Staying the course is certainly important, but Bump, I'm wondering, I can't think they came out and they were like, yeah, let's keep doing what we're doing. There had to be some change.
No, that's the thing. Schlereth is, he's an OG, right? Super Bowl champion. He knows what he's talking about. And it's funny because he goes, they didn't really make any adjustments. They just adjusted what they were. And I'm like,
they made adjustments.
They made adjustments. What he's saying is like, they're not saying, let's run a completely different game plan. Let's pull off a play that was install 1 back in August 2nd. No, what he's saying, and to me, adjustments are, I wrote down, communicating with your players. I'm talking to my guard. Can you handle that 3-tech? What's he doing? My guard's talking to my center. Hey, man, you feel him shift his weight here. Boom, I'm going to go. I'm going to spend less time here because I got him. My center's like, yeah, I got him. I don't need your help that much. You get to that second level. Those are the adjustments. Another adjustment, you come out in the second half, you run 5 out of 6 run plays. That's an adjustment. In the first half, you came out and then threw the football a lot. So because Schlereth is just a football mind, and for the people who are a bit more simple when it comes to that, to him is not an adjustment, but in reality, it is an adjustment because you're talking and you're communicating. The scheme's going to stay the same. They still ran power. They still ran zone. They still ran trap. They're just, they communicated about it a bit more, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed is that they were running to the left side of that offensive line a lot more than the right. And the right side, we had a guard who was struggling a little bit. How do you help him? You take the run away from him. You provide better angles for him to get to that second level, and the cutback looks a lot more better. So, yeah, it was adjusting, but there's no adjusting in the scheme. It's just communicating.
I have a statement to make before we get to headline rewrites. From 2 separate texters, I have literally verbatim, Stacy, there are 2 buttons. Did you try pushing them? I talked about really struggling with Super Mario Bros. Or whatever. Video games aren't that intuitive, you guys. You know, we all pretend that they are. It's very complicated, all right? We haven't evolved for centuries to know how to play a Nintendo machine. Curtis is just staring at me. I'm just saying it's not.
A Nintendo machine.
I'm just saying you guys make it seem like I should know, as though it's like a dog throwing into water knowing how to swim.
Your first time playing Mario, you died on that first level.
You died.
But then you're supposed to get better.
Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Mariners could not take advantage of an Astros loss. They fell to the Padres last night 7-3. What's the real headline?
So here's what really happened. The A's beat the Astros, and the Mariners beat themselves.
Yeah, you come out with a 2-0 lead, a couple bombs. It's almost scary sometimes when I see them jump out and hit a couple bombs early. I'm like, save it! Save it. It's almost like when we're having our side conversations and we're like, save it for air. Yeah. It's too good for conversation. Yeah. I'm telling them, like, save it for the 5th. Save one of those for the 6th, maybe. But it's tough, man. 4 out of 5 games, they got 10 hits. But the problem is they're not driving these guys in. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. I'm listening to Dan Wilson talk after the game, and he sees progress, and he's a bit more positive about the situation, and that's because he's only been on the block a couple weeks, so he hasn't been just scarred the way that we have been. And I think that's the only approach he should have, is that, look, I got to find my positives because I'm going to be here next year. Some of these guys are going to be here with me next year. We are hitting the baseball. We're just not driving them in. You got to crawl before you walk. It's difficult sometimes listening to him speak after the games because he just got here. He doesn't have the same pain that a lot of us had all year and last year watching his team go through it. But I also don't blame him for having that approach. What other approach should he have? Right. So there's some type of progress, but still not enough.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Luis Castillo has been placed on the 15-day IL with a hamstring strain. What's the real headline?
Shocked they didn't place every other starting pitcher on the IL with back strain from carrying this team.
That's right.
Here's what Justin Hollander said.
We'll start with The Rock. Luis has a grade 2 hamstring strain. He's getting a PRP in it today. In talking to the trainers, they think it's not out of the question that he could be ready by the time the 15 days are up. He's a fast healer. He felt stronger and better already today. So it is a grade 2. I don't have a definitive timeline except to say it could be 15 days or it could be longer than that. So I know that's not super helpful, but it's at least possible. 15 days.
I mean, I guess it's good he's not done, but it doesn't sound especially great. It could be longer than 2 weeks.
Nah, that's not great at all. And I hope he gets better. And I hope the Mariners do enough to stay in the fight. So when and if he does get back, maybe he can bring some magic to this team. But when I saw the report, it didn't even affect me no more. Like my emotions are locked away in a chest somewhere, and the Mariners are not going to tap into it for the rest of the year unless they do what no one expects them to do and go on this run. I just feel bad for everyone involved in the situation. The Rock, too, man. The whole pitching staff, they had such a good year. Nothing's going right for them. The bullpen's been banged up. It started with brash. Like, there's just been so much that went on with this team this year, and somehow the pitching staff has been able to keep them in it. But this is a tough one.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says expansion talks haven't begun, but the league is paying close attention to the Clippers' upcoming exhibition game in Seattle. What's the real headline?
Well, what's it going to tell them? That a team was stolen from Seattle and fans would very much like to have one back? Like, what do you mean? You're going to pay close attention to an exhibition game in Seattle.
Got an eye on it.
What haven't you been told already? I mean, they've had sold-out games, exhibition games in Seattle. You've had an amazing following for the WNBA in Seattle. You have had other sports franchises come here and find, a ton of fan support in Seattle because fans want basketball back. They want the NBA back. You took it. Give it back. I don't know what you mean by, we'll keep an eye on it and see what we find. What do you think you're going to find?
Y'all should have been watching the past 3-4 years. Whenever there's an exhibition game up here, people, they pack it in. Seattle's the 18th biggest city in the country, the 13th biggest media market. Ballers come out of here all day. Basketball is an indoor sport. You know it rains here, so you're going to produce these ballers. It just makes sense. I watched a podcast with, I think it was Gilbert Arenas and Melo. And Melo said it's ridiculous that Seattle does not have a basketball team. He said the vibe up here is different. The fans are smart. They're knowledgeable. They understand the game. Even the players know. So stop teasing already. Get it done. If you were to go anywhere else but Seattle and Vegas, I fear for your life. No, I shouldn't say no threats. No threats.
No threats. But legally, we can't fear for your life, but we will say, why not Seattle? I'm going to read this excerpt quickly from ESPN's coverage of it. Speaking of Seattle, Adam Silver was asked specifically about Climate Pledge Arena, whether renovations that the arena has undergone make it enticing for the league to return there. He sidestepped the question, saying the league focuses on every arena it plays in everywhere. The answer is yes, Silver said. We're always paying attention to what's happening in other arenas throughout the United States when we do play games there. We look very closely at the support we get in those markets, but incidentally, we look everywhere. I think we have a pretty good library now of arenas everywhere in the world, in part because even if we're not playing there on a regular basis, there are things we can learn. Adam, shut up. Like, truly.
Shut your mouth when you talk to me.
Why are you, I'm sure he's a brilliant businessman. Why are you sidestepping so carefully, just making it clear that the NBA would be interested in Seattle?
He's got to.
I don't
He's
like
got to leave all possibilities out there. I think deep down he knows it's like 90% chance we going to Seattle, but he's got to make Austin.
It makes me so mad.
Austin feel like they might get a team. They're pretty big. Jacksonville, Columbus is a bigger spot.
You're being asked, hey, a team was stolen from Seattle. They've since rebuilt this arena. They've got a hungry fan base for the NBA. Would you want to go back? I mean, we pay attention to every arena in the world. Like, what are you talking about?
That's his job.
I know.
I get you. I feel you.
You know what I mean?
I feel you, but that's his job.
I totally understand. It's one of those things where I wish I knew. Why? Wish I knew you wanted me. I don't know the song.
That's pretty good for not knowing. That's pretty good.
What was the song you were singing where it was Maya? And you said it's just one of those days. Yeah. And I said, when you don't want to wake up. And you said, that's Fred Durst. So bad. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Your challenge. Tell me an NFL storyline right now outside of Seattle you cannot stop reading about and watching. Get ready to get caught up with what you need to know around the league next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got answers about the linebackers. We certainly got answers about the secondary, the defense as a whole. I felt like we got answers. But the other question mark was the O-line.
After those first two series, if somebody had told you K9's going to get 100 yards, no chance. I think there's going to be a lot of repair. I think, and the other thing, too, is it's a good thing that Charles Cross took that step.
Yeah.
Because he really did. He took that step to be a leader and to be the best offensive lineman on that line.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. we can help.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business.
Sure can.
And the quality is guaranteed?
Absolutely.
Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right?
For sure.
How about this one?
We'll beat it.
Can you print menus, signs, and flyers?
Sure can.
How about blueprints?
No problem.
What about red prints?
Not a real thing.
What if they were?
We'd print them. And they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, nasal congestion, or stuffiness? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that can significantly reduce your symptoms. This long-lasting treatment is available here in my office. In a clinical study, 88% of Rhine Air patients experience a significant reduction in their symptoms. We're proud the Stern Sinus Center was recently named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
If you're looking for fun, breathtaking views and outdoor dining, Snoqualmie Casino's the place for you. It's Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino. No matter if it's a meeting like I've done, a night out with friends, a big date night with my wife, I know Snoqualmie Casino has it all. Plus, they open their outdoor dining, so come enjoy dinner overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood offer outdoor dining, so grab a seat and dig in. You can browse the menus at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Have you been searching for a local, trustworthy group of professionals to assist with your mortgage? Hey, this is Brock Heward, and you can count on Tila Mortgage. They've been the go-to mortgage experts in Washington for over 25 years. If you are 62 or older and want to learn more about reverse mortgages, well, Tila can help you decide if it's the right choice for you. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your cash flow, Tila can assist you in consolidating your debt with proven programs like a refinance loan or a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, enabling you to maintain your low fixed rate first mortgage. Additionally, if you're purchasing a new home, well, Tila can guide you through the ins and outs of a home loan as well. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Call Tila today at 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, I have challenged you guys to find the greatest non-Seahawks story. that only a weekend to the season you can't stop reading about. Someone already has mine on the Mac and Jack's text line. Me and this is a 253. Right on this in the same boat here when it comes to this story. But Bump, I'm going to let you go first. The greatest, maybe the worst non-Seahawks story that you cannot stop tracking.
Man, you ever been on, I'm sure all you've done this. We've been on the road before and there's traffic. I look at my phone, tells me there's an accident up there. I'm like, gosh, just go, man. What y'all doing? Then you pull up, I'm like, oh, let me look at that accident though. Everybody good? Did we make it? Rubberneck, and I become part of the problem as well. Too. Everyone's done that. Don't act like you haven't. That's how I view the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh.
I'm looking at this car accident, and I cannot stop looking at it. I always watch film of the Seahawks, and I check it on the division, and for some reason, I went to the Carolina Panthers, and I would go, how bad is his football team? How bad is Bryce Young? He's not very good. Now, he ain't got a lot of help, but he is not very good.
Like maybe a bust.
If he don't turn things around here quickly, he's going to be mentioned with some of the names, and I'm not going to mention because some of those are, they represent where I'm from. But I'm looking at that car accident with the Carolina Panthers, and I feel horrible. There's women and children involved with Canales and Bryce Young. And we love Canales. He was here for a while. He's been vulnerable about his story. He went to Tampa Bay as an OC, got Baker Mayfield right. You jump at this opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL. I don't care unless you are Bill Belichick or one of these great names. If you are a young coach trying to make it, you don't care who the team is, what the situation is. You're going to take that opportunity. That's where Canales is. I don't see it working out for him down there just because of the resources. But this is a horrible car accident. Bryce Young looks like he is confused and he is scared out there. With that offensive line, he should be confused and scared because they're not helping him out. So yeah, I'm on the 405. And when you get to Newcastle, Renton, the S curves, it starts to slow down, and then there's somebody pulled over on the other side, and there's a car accident. I'm looking because there's already traffic anyway. So I'm looking at this car accident, and I'm praying that everyone gets out okay, but it's not looking good for the Panthers.
You know what the thing that's interesting about the Panthers is twofold to me. Number one, it's David Tepper, a horrible owner. And one of the more interesting / frustrating things about bad sports franchises is when you can take it all the way to the top. Like I don't think the Cowboys are a bad franchise by any means. They're, in fact, one of the most successful franchises and one of the most valuable. But when people talk about, well, why haven't they had playoff success? Why haven't they been back to a Super Bowl? Why haven't they won a Super Bowl? They have all this talent. They have all this attention. They have all this money. It is hard not to look at Jerry Jones and go, when you have a recurring issue over a very long time, does it start at the top? David Tepper is the owner of the Carolina Panthers and sure seems like a guy that is not especially well liked. In fact, Pat McAfee said that the Carolina Panthers are embarrassing the rest of the NFL and wonders if the league will lose patience with David Tepper. And David Tepper reportedly the one that really wanted Bryce Young. Not that other teams didn't. We all wondered if Bryce Young would go first overall. And quite frankly, if he wasn't picked by the Panthers first overall, maybe he gets chosen by the Texans who needed a passer, right? But this is, I think, potentially a case of bad ownership and mismanagement. And I feel for fans of any team, any league, any franchise where the problems start with someone with all the power.
I've never supported a team that looked as bad as these guys. We support the Mariners, yeah, but since the 15 years I've been on this side of the mountains, I've never felt that bad about the Mariners in just in a season, in a game or something like that I felt about the Panthers because this is a game where you can get hurt too. Like if your team is bad, bodies are dropping, and I see that happening, man.
So before I get to mine, I asked for the most fascinating non-Seahawks story that you're watching. Someone sent in one that they're watching. They said it's a non-Seahawks story, and I'm so obsessed with this one. It is not actually about the NFL. They said that a local car dealership had a halftime contest in Purdue's home opener. Did you see this?
I did not.
Okay, so a car dealership in Indiana said that a student would win a car lease if they successfully kicked 20, 30, and 40-yard field goals during the halftime break. So this student named Zachary did it. and now the car dealership is backing out.
Oh.
And they decided, your final kick is 5/100ths of a second too late. No,
that's garbage.
They didn't think they'd have to do this, is what it was.
Lame.
So the story has become instead that a couple other dealerships and a local sandwich company have offered to step up so that he can get a car.
Good.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
That's a very
man.
cool story. Okay, now I'm going to go to a depressing story. Thanks for lightening this up. So that's a very cool non-Seahawks story that I'm loving. The what I'm getting to is, in fact, a bad story, but I can't stop looking at it. We in Seattle all watched the Russell Wilson trade go down to the Denver Broncos and then watched that absolutely collapse. His play completely fell off. A little bit better in year 2, but it was too late by then. And now the Broncos have the most dead cap in NFL history because of the deal they gave him. The Cleveland Browns are in an even worse spot. Not only did they give up more, including 3 first-round picks, but 3 of those picks, by virtue of trades or moving up, became Will Anderson, Tank Dell, and Stephon Diggs for Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in addition to giving all those picks up, the Cleveland Browns then gave Watson $231 million fully guaranteed. Deshaun Watson has never played in more than 6 games in a season with the Browns, has never thrown for more than 1,200 yards with the Browns, and started out week 1 getting sacked 5 times and looking god-awful. Oh, and now he's got another lawsuit. Now, if you're the Browns, this new lawsuit that's facing him may actually allow you to back out on parts of the contract that you owe him. So financially, it's fine. In terms of setting your franchise back, it's too late.
Yeah. This Deshaun Watson Brown situation is horrible. And when you have all these allegations against you, it is impossible for Deshaun Watson to go out on a football field and operate with a clear mind. Yeah, people say, well, I want to get back to work because it's a distraction. Yeah, those distractions still seep into your mind from time to time. I don't care what you're doing. And for the Browns to go out on a limb, what information did they have to make them think that everything's going to be okay? Mentally, he's going to be fine. We're going to surround him with pieces, and all is going to be well. This is rough to watch over there. But it's the Browns, man. What do you expect? I mean, the Browns they're cursed, man.
Okay. We have one more from a listener. The 253 says, I can't stop watching 2 things. One was the Deshaun Watson situation with Cleveland. The other one, though, is how bad Daniel Jones is and how good Saquon was for the Eagles. So just like the fork that those 2 teams took in Saquon moving on with Philadelphia and in this team choosing to keep Daniel Jones and Daniel Jones looking god-awful.
The tough part about the Saquon situation is that the Giants had to let him go because they were not going to pay him to be on a garbage team. Like, you're going to pay this guy all this money. You're not going to get anything from it. It's time to move on and try to make some adjustments. But for him to go to Philadelphia in the division and then come out and be the 2nd or 3rd player in Philly history to score 3 touchdowns in their very first game suited up, that has to hurt the ego just a little bit.
I love the start of an NFL season. I feel like it's a new show. You know, you start your new season of your favorite show and there's 5 different storylines and you're like, let's see what happens with Rob this year. How fascinating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow, Lindsay. Look at Lindsay go. Did I combine multiple shows like Industry and Summer House? Yeah, I did. All right. You are listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. It is a Washington Wednesday Apple Cup preview. Holy cow. Coming up at 11. Before we get to it, it's time for Get Off My Lawn with Bump, and that's coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
We got 17 games to go. It will tell the rest of the story. It was a hard pass by you and me and the organization. We are not giving up pitching in the 2024 offseason. That cannot be the conversation in the 2025 offseason. It cannot be, because you just saw a historic run. You just saw these guys basically starting every 5th day and doing things that have not been done in totality out of a rotation, and you're 1 game over 500. So this has to now be on the table.
It has to be on the table.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
In the Pacific Northwest, choose Star Rentals for construction equipment. With 18 locations, they deliver superior service and unmatched follow-through. Visit starrentals.com. Star Rentals, the preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers who chonk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have quantum fiber internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
This Thursday's spotlight at Waterfront Park is Northwest Folklife's Super Folk. Come experience the brilliance, depth, and breadth of folk music. Thursday, September 12th at Waterfront Park on Pier 62. Celebrate the arts, cultures, and traditions that embody the Pacific Northwest. This free event is open to all ages, September 12th, 6 to 8 p.m. Seattle's new waterfront is being built for you. Come and enjoy it. Full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about football. Have fun, but be responsible on game day. Even if it's on your best friend's 100-inch, 4K, UDR, and surround sound. 5.1. If you feel sacked in the fourth quarter, a designated driver needs to take you to your end zone. If you get carried away with too many Bloody Marys after a few too many Hail Marys, call for a timeout. You get the point. Be safe on game day. 1-800-DUI-AWAY! I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about Google. It's so important, it's a verb. Google it. Then check out our hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. They ended my case with such favorable results that even the judge was surprised. Give yourself the absolute best chance of staying out of jail and give Bradley Johnson a call. I contacted other firms with no call back. I then called Bradley Johnson and scheduled a meeting immediately. Google us. 1-800-DUI-AWAY!
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
After years of wear and tear, Joe had osteoarthritis in his wrists and shoulders.
I've pretty much worked out my whole life. I actually decided I'm going to train for a half Ironman triathlon.
The pain was interfering with every part of his life.
Basically, can't sleep, causing those kind of problems, very limited movement.
Joe had surgery, but it wasn't the fix he was looking for.
The doctor told me, he's like, hey, this is just going to be a partial fix. You're going to eventually need joint replacement.
That's when he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
And they're just getting better. I can basically do full motion. I don't have really any pain.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you weren't before?
I like to golf, and it definitely has made my golf game not as painful. And sleeping. I'm sleeping better because I don't have that aching at night going on and having to roll over.
So, are you recommending this to others?
Oh, everybody I talk to. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is
Weekdays 10 to 2.
on Seattle Sports at
Is that the first
97.3
time?
FM
My bad.
HD2.
That's
Is
so
that
we
the first
played it
time?
yesterday when you were
That's
out. So
dope.
Curtis told the story. First of all, Curtis told a story of that's Curtis's daughter Willa.
Yeah.
She's 3.
She's 3, yeah.
Turned 3 in May. They all got locked out of the house on Willa's first day of preschool yesterday, which is why Curtis wasn't here on Monday. And they left the bedroom window unlocked, so they had to lift Willa into the bedroom and then guide her to the front door.
Oh, Mission Impossible.
Right?
And she got the door unlocked.
She did it.
She came
Nice.
through.
So anyways, as he was telling
Probably the most clutch moment of her life so far.
Truly.
Yeah. So as he was telling this story, he then mentioned that Willow likes to call Bumpin' Stacy when she hears it in the car. It's Dumpin' Stinky.
Yeah.
And so Curtis got it on video.
Recorded, yeah.
Yeah,
That's dope.
and Matt made a promo
That's
for
dope.
it. And we
I
said,
like
let's
it.
not tell Bump.
I like
Let's
it.
have him here at live at 10:30.
I love
The new
that.
rejoin at 10:30 is going to be It's Dump and Stinky.
I like it.
By Willa Rogers. All right, it is Get Off My Lawn. Bump's telling us 3 things that are grinding his gears, making him real riled up on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Bump, what you got for us?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, man. Golf season's coming to an end.
Wow, devastating.
And it, it hurts my soul. I'm still going to go out there and weather the storm when it's raining and stuff, but, like the ideal golf season is gone. And I played in a lot of scrambles this year. I played in maybe like 7 of them things. And the scramble, Stacy, is when you have 4 guys on one team or a girl, and you tee off. Everyone tee offs, and you pick the best ball, right? And then you tee off. Everyone hits from there. You hit the next best ball, and so on and so forth.
That's
and
kind of
then
fun.
you go in. So it's less pressure on people, and it allows you to get low scores, which is great in these tournaments. But this year I finished like 2nd in 2 tournaments and 3rd in 1 tournament. And I'm looking at some of the scores. My golfers, you know this. I'm looking at some of the scores of the teams who've won. Lies, okay? They are lying about their dang score. Golf is a game of integrity. I'm seeing minus 27 on a scorecard. I go, come on, man. There's 18 holes. You're not getting eagles on every single hole. It's a game of integrity. So this year I played the best golf I've ever played in my life. Your boy touched the 70s like 4 or 5 times this year.
Wow.
I'm out there doing my thing. I'm fighting for my life on this golf course. Every single weekend with my scramble group, and we play with integrity. If we get a par, we get a par. If we get a birdie, we get a birdie. If we get an eagle, it is legit. I'm tired of you, and it's usually older men lying about their dang scores, putting down these whack numbers, and then you got to go and accept the award for everybody. And we all looking at each other like we know dang well Bobby's dad did not shoot a dang 28 on this golf course with his group.
Bobby's dad
is involved now. So I'm just saying, man. Good year of golf. All you golfers out there, you competed in scrambles. Salute all the ones who moved with integrity, because no one's out there checking your score. It's just you, the course, and your group. So you liars out there, I hope you go to sleep and have nightmares about being found out. All right, because there's some of us who move with integrity. You cheaters, get off my dang lawn.
You know what this reminds me of?
I'm 40.
In The Big Lebowski, John Goodman's character, Market Zero. That's you right now. Have integrity. Pulling a gun out of the bowling bag. Market Zero.
Facts.
That's you. All right, what's next?
All right, next up.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Notre Dame. You guys, Notre Dame, so prestigious. The movie Rudy, have you seen it yet? Probably not, Stacy. Go
Nope.
check it out.
I did watch the program.
Okay. Good. It was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
Okay,
good,
sorry,
wasn't
Nan,
it?
that was so off topic.
All right, so
I have complaints.
Notre Dame, you guys get your own TV station essentially every single week. We are forced to watch Notre Dame football. And you know what, Notre Dame? I can't believe y'all lost to Northern Illinois. That was embarrassing. Embarrassing. Notre Dame in 2024 had the 9th ranked recruiting class. In 2023 had the 12th ranked recruiting class. Northern Illinois in 2023, 111. In 2024, 119. And y'all paid them. You paid them over $100 million to go to your house, and they beat y'all. Y'all should be embarrassed, Notre Dame. There's no way you lose this game to Northern Illinois. There is no freaking way. So I just want to point out, Notre Dame, goodness gracious, y'all might have just tricked off your chance getting to the college football playoffs because now you lost to these guys, Northern Illinois. Now they're ranked like 22. Good for y'all. They're probably not going to last there long, but good for Northern Illinois. All right, I'm going to mix this with another one, another football one. There was a young man who rushed for in Alabama. He rushed for, in one game, 40 carries, 435 yards, and 10 touchdowns. His team lost 80-78. What the heck is going on? Coaches, play a little bit of defense, man. You got this young man setting records over there. I could imagine it was fun to watch if you are at the game. But my man rushed for 435 yards and lost that ball game 80-78. Somebody get 2 or 3 stops. No one got to stop. No one got to stop that game. So Notre Dame, you paid to lose, and then this young man, 40 carries, 435 yards, and still lost that damn ball.
It's gonna be high school ball.
That's
right?
like
high school ball, yeah.
Your pitcher throwing a perfect game and losing somehow. That would not happen. But I'm just saying, like, if there was a way that could happen, or like a no-hitter and losing, that could happen, it would be like that.
Yeah.
Like, this guy did even everything he was supposed to do. He did more.
40 carries?
40 carries.
He
That's
probably played both
crazy.
sides of the ball, too. Because, if he's doing it all on one side offensively, usually in high school, that guy is probably like your middle linebacker or your starting corner or what have you.
That's insane.
Crazy.
All right, what's next?
All right, last one.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Fashion is a big thing, right? Everyone has their era. You can look at photos and say, oh, that's from the 90s. That's from the 80s. That's from the 70s.
Okay.
I'm watching football this weekend, and I'm seeing something that needs to be banned from the NFL. If you are not a quarterback, if you are not Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford, Geno, let's go old school Bradford. Stop wearing these loose sleeves. You guys look sloppy out there. I saw Tyreek Hill's been wearing these loose sleeves. Jalen Ramsey, we got Wilson, we got Sauce. Deion wore them back in the day. It just looks sloppy to me. I need I need everyone to look nice and tight. And I go, that's some old man stuff right there. Because now I'm looking at my son and he's wearing these baggy jeans. I go, that looks silly. And I go, oh, well, I used to wear those too. But the old man in me is saying, tighten it up. And then when you put your jersey on, I don't like to be all wrinkled and stuff. Press that thing out, have it nice and sharp. Let's look presentable. I don't have my kids leave the house looking all dusty and stuff. I'm looking at the NFL. I go, some of y'all looking dusty out there. Like I get, third, fourth quarter, you've been tackling guys and things get all dirty. But when you line up, all right, when you line up, my guy Amari Lowe, who used to play for the Seahawks, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. He's one of the uniform referees. He goes around snitching on folks. I'd be like, dang, Lowe, you be snitching on me. He goes, yeah, I got to do it. Snitch on these dudes, Lowe. These loose sleeves, the jersey all tangled up and stuff, man. Have some respect about yourself, man. Tighten your jerseys up, fellas.
Oh, Washington Wednesday coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Linebacker Jerome Baker is with us. Hey, tell us about your interaction with Mike McDonald.
Challenged me to make plays that, they just do a great job of just challenging me every single day, no matter what it is. If it can be as small as I ran to the ball 9 times, but I didn't on that one time, they're going to remind me. No matter what it is, they just made sure that all aspects of my game are getting better. And our relationship is kind of like that. We kind of just push each other, and I'm definitely happy playing underneath them.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. What we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner, and that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work is never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Summer is here, and now's the time to break through those weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and we have a proven system that can help you lose weight and get healthy. No drugs, no side effects, no calorie counting, no exercise. Just teaching you the simple steps to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long-term. Remove the stress of trying to do this on your own and picture being down 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days with our help. At Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, we know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle changes. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
There's a lot of different weight loss plans out there, but one thing that sets this one apart is that you are eating real food that you buy at the grocery store. There's nothing fake about it. It is 100% genuine. The food tastes good. And again, it's real.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's Dolphins-Bills for Thursday night football tomorrow. The Finns already have some issues in the backfield. Raheem Mostert's already been declared out. Fellow running back Devon Achane will be a game-time decision with an ankle injury. If he's out, Miami will turn to Jeff Wilson Jr. as the primary back with Jalen Wright as a second option.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Washington Wednesdays is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Washington Wednesdays, brought to you by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's Apple Cup week in September, and it's a Washington Wednesday. Seattle Times' Andy Yamashita joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline for a preview for the Dogs. Andy, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Happy to have you. I am going to start with a very general question, so take this any direction you want. We had so many questions about Washington heading into the season because, Andy, as you know, it's basically an entirely new team and new coaching staff. What's one thing we've learned about the Huskies in 2 weeks?
Man, even that question is kind of hard to answer. Obviously 2 games against, some weaker competition, an FCS school and a MAC team. It's really hard to say. I think Will Rogers has done about as good of a job as you could have asked in following Michael Penix. He's been efficient. He's hit his routes, 20 of 26 in game 1, 21 of 26 in game 2, 250 yards in game 1, 261 yards in game 2. So I think Will Rogers has shown that he can command this offense, at least against some of the weaker opposition UW has played so far. But again, with the level of competition they've played, the slow starts they've endured, I think there's still a lot of questions, and Washington State is going to be a real test for them. The Cougs already played a Power 5 school in Texas Tech. Washington hasn't had that challenge yet, so this is going to be a big weekend for them, regardless of the fact that it's also the Apple Cup.
35 points or 30-plus points in each game that they played so far this year, and the defense has been on point, only allowing 12 points. Again, it's Weber State and Eastern Michigan, excuse me. How would you describe this defense? What's the strength of this defense so far?
Yeah, I think they have a good kind of spine. Alfonso Tupatala and Carson Bruner have so much experience. That second group of linebackers, too, Brian Parham, the San Jose State transfer, who had the forced fumble on Saturday. He's got a lot of experience. Drew Fowler's played a lot of football, even if he just earned that scholarship this year. I think that, in general, Steve Belichick is doing some interesting things, and we saw hints of this in fall camp and during spring football, but he's doing all of the kind of window dressing that works at this level, right? Like, I think he was, another big question mark. No one had seen him coach outside of Bill Belichick's system, outside of Bill Belichick's building. So I think there were rightfully some questions about what he could bring and what he was going to do. And again, he's doing all of the weird stuff that I have no idea if it would work in the NFL level, but in college, the more window dressing, the better. So I think he's got interesting personnel groups out there. He's got these weird pass rush, 3rd and long packages that he's been using. He's got some good cornerbacks on the outside. And the defensive line, showed up in a big way against Eastern Michigan. I think that was probably the biggest question on the defense, just like the offensive line has been the biggest question on the offense. And they had a really good day, Now, can they continue that against a much better program in Washington State? Again, these are questions we'll find out this week. But I think defensively, that might be the strength of this team, at least 2 weeks in. And going forward, if this defense can get close to elite, I think that will be, this team's calling card.
Washington made it into the top 25 of the U.S. coaches poll released Tuesday morning. They're the last team in the rankings. Florida State and Texas A&M have dropped in that poll. Not getting a lot of love for the AP top 25, which I guess isn't surprising. I mean, they're the 8th team out right now after starting 2-0, but again, it's not an amazing competition, and there's still a lot of questions. That said, do you feel like it's completely fair for this team to still be well outside of the top 25, or would you have expected them to gain a little ground there?
Well, for starters, I am an AP voter. Washington.
Andy, why didn't you vote 25? Them in there? I'm just kidding, Andy. I'm just kidding.
Did. They cracked my top 25
I'm
this
so
week.
proud of you,
I think
Andy.
I had them at 23. But honestly, it's week 2. I think in general, the rankings are just that, their projections. It's not a big deal. I mean, I wouldn't even read too much into the being in the coaches poll. Like that stuff, it doesn't really matter, right? The CFP rankings are the rankings that actually matter. Washington, I think there's arguments for them to be in and there's arguments for them to be out. Again, they haven't played anybody, but you could also argue that they've taken care of business against the teams that they've played, and you can't punish them for winning the games on their schedule. So I think it goes both ways. It's early in the season. Again, they have so many questions unanswered about who this team is, what they're good at, how far they can go. So I think it goes both ways. I think that again, when I've been ranking these last couple weeks, you get down to 20, 23, 25, and there's not a lot of great options, like a lot of the teams that traditionally get the kind of benefit of the doubt we've already seen falter, right? Florida State's had a really awful start to the year. Notre Dame losing to NIU. I mean, Clemson getting smacked by Georgia. There hasn't been, a lot of those teams that traditionally start in the AP top 25 have had great starts. So I think it's fair to put Washington in there. I also think, if people still want to see more from them, I think that's fair too.
I'm a Coug, so I got to ask you about my Washington State Cougars. I think if there's a year to get UW, it's this year. And the reason why is I'm looking at Mateer, the quarterback for the Cougs, and his first game he throws for a bunch of yards. Second game he runs for a bunch of yards. What part of his game do you think is going to give UW the biggest fits?
Yeah, I think probably the running part, just because Washington hasn't played a quarterback that was really a dual threat quarterback yet. But again, this is just another unknown about this Washington football team. We don't know how they'll handle that. We haven't seen it yet. I think Washington State's first game was like Portland State or something, so it's always hard to read into something like that. But in general, I'd say, Mateer looks like he's legit, but Washington State has also had great quarterbacks in the past, and I think 2021 is their only Apple Cup win since 2013. So it's hard to say, I think Jed Fish talked in his press conferences about when a quarterback is good at two things, trying to force them into just doing one thing, either force him into being a runner or force him into being a thrower. Don't let him kind of use both of his skill sets to offset your defense. So, I certainly think, Cougar fans can be optimistic going into this game, right? We know more about Washington State than we know about Washington, just straight up. That Texas Tech game showed a lot of grit, showed what they can do offensively, showed a lot of what Mateer can do. So I think, Cougar fans can certainly feel good about their team and where they are going into the Apple Cup. And, everything about this is so weird, right? We're talking about an Apple Cup in the second week of September at Lumen Field. If there's a year for weird stuff to happen, it feels like it could be this year.
Hey, I'm glad that you mentioned it that way, Andy, saying, look, frankly, we know more about Washington State than we do about Washington, because you're exactly right. And when I asked earlier, what have we learned so far, that comes against two schools that aren't telling us a lot, right? What's a question that you still have that you just frankly can't wait to have answered?
I mean, if you'd asked me this question during the offseason, it was clearly the offensive line. How do they hold up against better competition? How do they hold up in the Big Ten? But I think the question now has kind of been, how do they replace Quinton Moore? Washington is extremely thin at tight end. They came into the season with 5 scholarship guys at that position. Ryan Otten didn't practice all of fall camp. He's not expected back for at least 2 more weeks. And that might just be when he starts practicing again, not to say anything about actually playing. Charlie Crowell, the true freshman, is out for the season. So that left you with 3 before Quinton Moore got injured in the first game of the season. And, Jed Fish has said that he's someone that they really miss in their offense. And what they really miss is his blocking, right? Which was a big part of what he did for Kalen DeBoer's offense. He had obviously that touchdown catch in the Pac-12 championship game, but Quinton Moore's blocking is really important to this offense. And the 2 tight ends they have left, Kaleki Latu and Decker DeGraff, are both more pass-catching tight ends. They went and got Latu because they wanted a tight end with good hands because they felt really confident in Moore's blocking. So we've seen them run out offensive linemen, an extra offensive lineman or an offensive lineman as a tight end. You've seen DeGraff and Latu have to take on more of that blocking emphasis. So I think at least until Moore comes back, and they keep saying it's not that bad, he'll be back in a couple weeks, but he's doubtful for this week. I think that's kind of my biggest question is, they didn't really miss him against an Eastern Michigan, but against the Washington State, once, Northwestern comes to town next week, is that where you start to be like, okay, they really missed their 6th-year veteran tight end?
Last year, obviously UW had probably the best passing game in the country. People forget that they had a good run game as well. So far, 2 games in, it looks like this offense is pretty balanced. When you compare this year's scheme to last year's scheme, what stands out to you?
Yeah, I actually wrote an article kind of about what Jedd Fisch wants to do on offense. He's the play caller, right? This is the offense he's built for a long time. He cited guys like Mike Shanahan, Billick, Steve Spurrier as some of the coaches that he's taken influences from. And then he, said he learned a lot from spending time with Sean McVay and the Rams organization. I think that in general, it's more of an intermediate attack. They aren't going to just launch it down the field the way that Michael Penix and Ryan Grubb were willing to do last season. I talked with some former Huskies, actually, Levon Coleman and Zion Tupuola-Fatui, about what they were seeing. And one of the things Levon Coleman said was a lot less switch routes, a lot less overs, but a lot more quick timing routes. Arizona was one of the most effective teams in the red zone in 2023, partially because of their really strong intermediate passing attack, which obviously thrives when there's less space. So I think we've seen hints of that so far. Rodgers isn't particularly known for his deep ball the way Michael Penix is, but he's accurate. He can throw the ball a million times. And I think for the most part, outside of some play action troubles against Eastern Michigan in the first quarter, he's done as good of a job as you could ask, stepping into that role and hitting all of his targets. He's throwing the ball differently, right, than he had to at Mississippi State, where he ran Mike Leach's air raid. That was the big question for Rodgers coming into this year, was how does he adapt to a completely different offense? Jedd Fisch calls it a pro-style offense. It's balanced, like you said. You have to take advantage of the opportunities that are there because they're not going to throw the ball a million times. And I think Rodgers has done that again against lesser competition, but, he's at least done a solid job. And, Michael Penix Jr. isn't walking back through that door. And before Penix lit up Montlake last year, right? 21-26 for 261 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's a great day for basically any other Washington quarterback.
Andy, I have 2 more final questions about the Apple Cup, both pretty quick. Number 1, Jedd Fisch was asked about his expectations for the kind of the future planning between these two beyond this contract, and said, I guess it'll depend on the appetite that fans have for this. Let's talk about the appetite fans have for it this year. Again, one of the most, I guess, favored rivalries or precious rivalries of this area. Have you heard about attendance or ticket sales at all for this game? What's the latest there?
Yeah, I reached out through the UW athletic department a couple of days ago asking the same question, and generally heard back that with the Lumen thing, they don't have specific numbers. They told me they were projecting, a UW spokesperson told me they were projecting between 50 and 60,000 for the game. I think, in terms of the bigger term, the long-term future of this, we know the Apple Cup will be played for at least the next 4 years. The question becomes, or maybe it's because, obviously they're not in the same conference anymore. What if something happens? What if Washington State gets into a power conference again and says, Washington left us. Why would we want to schedule them? Or maybe Washington in 5 years says, we don't have to carry Washington State. We don't have to do this. And I think that's like the real disappointing part of the Apple Cup and the regionality that we've lost in college football over the last however many years, is that these things can happen, right? You've seen Iowa State have maintained their rivalry since 1977, which is amazing. Love to see that. Texas and Texas A&M had no plans to play each other until Texas ended up in the SEC. And that's a bummer, right? Those are the games that make people fall in love with the sport. Those are the games that everyone wants to tune into, even if they don't watch football. So if we're talking longer term, I personally would love to see this game happen in perpetuity. The thing is that there's now a possibility where it couldn't, when in conference play, you didn't have a choice. You had to play them. So I think that's where this all gets kind of sad, because you're right. This is a great Pacific Northwest tradition. And it's weird that it's happening now, and it's weird that it's happening at Lumen. Maybe, next year when it's at Martin Stadium, it'll feel a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
But there's no way around that. It's a weird one.
Good point about next season, though. I'm hoping that that'll be the case, too. I know Bump's nodding like, yeah, something about it being in Pullman could feel more like an Apple Cup. Okay, last one. I've only saved you 30 seconds, but you don't need a lot of time for this one, Andy. It is one of the most boring questions that I could possibly ask a beat reporter, but also one that listeners want to know. Your score prediction and winner choice for the Apple Cup.
Man.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, because I have to do these projections every week, too, and people get super mad and they don't realize that I'm just making them up off the top of my head sometimes. Score project. I think in my season preview, I think I had it like 34-24 or something like that, Washington. I think, again, this will be a really big test for Washington. I actually thought the Eastern Michigan game was going to be closer because I thought they might overlook Eastern Michigan a little bit, and instead they came out and obliterated my projection in about 5 minutes.
It's so rude when they do that.
Felt really good about it for like a quarter and a half, and then just Will Rogers destroyed it in about 3 drives. But, man, I think maybe 20. I'm gonna say maybe like 31-21, something like that.
Okay.
I think Washington's offense has looked good enough. I think its defense has looked better than maybe expected. I think that not having a lot of touchdown thing isn't going to last past this weekend. Washington State's, offense is way too good for that. But also, I think from everything we've seen in press conferences, from everything the players have said at Washington, at least, there's an understanding of what this means to the fans. There's always questions, with all the new guys on the team, like do the players really care that much, or is this another game? And at least the guys who've been here for a minute, the Carson Bruners and Denzel Boston, local kids, this does mean something. And Jed Fish has been talking about the Apple Cup for months now. It's not just like, it's a this week kind of a thing for them. So I think they'll be ready. He snapped a pretty long Arizona State winning streak in the Territorial Cup at Arizona and seemed to really understand what it meant there to the Arizona fans. So I think he knows this is a big one for him. This is a big one for kind of getting people on side and excited about this season. Obviously, with the Big Ten schedule coming up, you need as many wins as you can. That November, end of October and November is a brutal part of the schedule for Washington. If they want to make a bowl, they got to win as many of these early games as possible. So I think they know the implications for the bigger season. I think they know the implications for Western Washington. And I think it'll be a great game, and if my prediction's wrong, feel free to email me.
We will.
You will be wrong. Cougs, 27,
I knew
21.
Buck was waiting
Let's
for this,
get it.
Andy. He was waiting for it. Just all right. He is Seattle Times' Andy Yamashita. Make sure you are reading Andy's coverage of this game and reading Andy's work at seattletimes.com. Andy, thank you so much for your time.
Andy.
You've been so generous.
Appreciate it, y'all. Happy to come back anytime.
Great. See ya. All right. A quick 4-down territory. Let's go.
This is 4-down territory.
Buck was ready. He was just waiting. Like, come on, Andy.
With former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael
Andy was
Bumpus.
very nice.
Oh, man.
I thought, Andy
Ask
was
the
really...
question, Stacy.
Okay.
It's 4-down territory
First down.
time. I got 2 minutes left.
Though the offense gave us the feel of a team trying to figure themselves out early in the game, what's a stat that shows the Hawks played with more discipline than we thought?
Only 6 penalties. 6 penalties, all on offense, though.
Actually pretty good.
False start, holding, false start, offensive pass interference. I mean, we're used to this team under Pete Carroll having a lot more penalties than that, typically like 10 to 12. So it didn't feel good, but penalty-wise, they were actually okay. And I like that it was mostly on offense, even though we didn't like the start of the game. I like that the offense held down the penalties because that just really amplifies how good that defense was playing. They were efficient, nothing too crazy. But yeah, 6 penalties, we'll take that.
Second down. You need to make a statement, a PSA. What's a statement you want to make about the defense that is an overreaction, but you have not been able to say it about them in a long time?
Overreaction.
Okay.
Top 10 defense after
Stop.
week 1. They're 6th overall, allowing 231 yards. 4th against the pass, 132. 9th against the run, 146. 12th when it comes to giving up points with 20. Hey, folks, you got your top 10 defense you've been waiting for 4 or 5 seasons. I know it's week 1, but I'm going to say now because nothing in life is guaranteed. I don't know if we'll be able to say this again. So, folks, say hello to Mike McDonald and his top 10 defense in the NFL. Let's go.
3rd down. How would you describe the first 4 weeks of the season for the Seahawks?
It's a progression, and I like the way it's set up. It's almost set up like the college teams do. Like UW, for instance. You know, who they play first game? Weber State, and Eastern Michigan,
dominated.
and now Washington State. It's a progression. I actually like the way this season is set up. You got the Broncos, rookie. You got the Patriots, trying to figure out. You got the Dolphins, you better defend. You got the Lions, overall type of game. So, no, it's a progression type season, and it actually works out in their favor. If they can get out of this 4-game stretch 3-1, I'll be encouraged because we all know that the Dolphins and the Lions don't play. It is going to be tough for those guys. So play against a Patriots team that's better than what people expected. You're going to get better quarterback play out of Jacoby Brissett. We know the defense is going to play well. So yeah, it's a progressive type season.
The Dolphins will have 10 days to recover after this Thursday night game against the Bills, but it is interesting that they've got injuries early to running backs. Like there's a world where Raheem Mostert and potentially Devin Achane are not playing the Seahawks in week 3.
And I wouldn't mind that at all.
I wouldn't mind that world either, Bum. 4th down. Who played better than you initially thought for the Seahawks against the Broncos?
You know, first look at the game, I go, man, where's Boye Mafe at, man? I didn't really feel him that game. Then I go back and watch the film, and I said, this young man played well. He really did, man. And he plays a position where he's not going to pop off the screen. But when you break down his pass rushing and then his play against the run, he played okay.
Yeah.
And I am excited about his progression. We talk about it being a progressive season. It's going to be that for him for sure. So, yes, I saw on Twitter a lot of people talking about him and how he didn't show up and had to go back and revisit it because Big Cat showed up and the edge rushers had their deal. But Boye Mafe played a solid first game, and I'm happy for that young man.
It was there's a clip going around of him. You've probably seen that specific one. Just looking, it said, I'll find it. But it
all
was
his pass rushes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing though. Like I didn't find that his name was one that I mentioned at all afterwards. We were talking about Julian Love. We talked about Reek Woolen and how good he'd looked.
Did you share that?
No, I got to go find it. It's been going around on Seahawks Twitter. I'll find it.
It looks good.
It looks really promising. All right, well, one Cleveland sports radio show got off to a rough start yesterday after a caller set off the host by bringing up something that I'll tell you about in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hawks live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Join former Seahawks Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer as they go deep on the Hawks with player interviews and opponents' analysis.
And we look like offensively the team that we thought we were. How do we win a football game? That's what makes you a great quarterback.
Every Thursday night throughout the Hawks season.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com.
The new John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds. It gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
All right, sports fans, let's talk stats. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. And of those men, many will experience bladder leaks. That's why Depend is partnering with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage getting screened. Because if caught early, prostate cancer is up to 99% treatable. I like those odds. Depend is also donating to prostate cancer research for select purchases now through November. Learn more at Depend.com. From September through November, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation. For Depend shields, guards, real fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000. Void in Mississippi.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Thursday, September 12th, enjoy Northwest Folklife Superfolk on Pier 62 at Waterfront Park, a celebration of music and culture. Free for all ages, 6 to 8 p.m. Full list of summer events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
You know, there's still time to get your roof done this summer with Riverside Roofing's Quick Quote at riversideroofingllc.com. Enter the details of your project, and you're only 60 seconds away from starting on a new roof. At Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks came up with 2 turnovers on Sunday, and according to NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah, it could have easily been 4. He joined Brock and Salk for his Wednesday segment this morning and broke down how Mike McDonald's defense causes confusion for a quarterback.
There's going to be, a mystery of who's coming, who's dropping, what roles are assigned, and then they're going to match their coverages on the back end with what you're doing. What it does is it really does allow your players that can run to play extremely fast, and it speeds up the quarterback. And I think if you watch not only with Bo Nix, and if you watch the Ravens, you watch Michigan previously, they have a way of speeding up quarterbacks because of the uncertainty they create at the snap.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. Most guys don't realize that their ED started in their 40s. Symptoms of erectile dysfunction can be slight and subtle, but by treating your symptoms at the onset, you can avoid severe ED in the future. Mild ED is easily reversed at our clinic using our acoustic wave technology. Most men have accepted that ED is a part of getting older, but that's far from the truth. Our acoustic wave therapy has helped thousands of men restore function, whether they're in their 40s or their 80s. West Coast Men's Health also treats chronic pain, including neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, Dupuytren's contracture, and even carpal tunnel. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, And if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Some important NFC West injury news for two different teams coming your way in 15 minutes. Before we get to it, taking a look around the rest of the sports world, the top stories coming your way on the timeline. We are going to start in Cleveland. Ken Carman, we've had him on the show before. Great listen. The Ken Carman Show in Cleveland got off to a rough start Tuesday after a caller set off the hosts by bringing up Baker Mayfield's success away from the Browns.
42.9. 144.
What is all this?
Watson's quarterback rating, Mayfield's quarterback rating.
Oh, Christ. I can't do this for one more second. No, that's enough. That's enough. The first call out of the box, we're going to do this. The very first call out of the box, we're going to do this. No. I know what his quarterback rating was. I know that he was good. Guys, I'm not doing it right out of the damn box. Can I have a little bit of time before we do this? Can I have a little bit of time? That he ain't coming home. He ain't coming back. Only to play us. That's it. He had a great day down there. Congratulations on all his success. I can't undo the trade. I can't undo it.
I'm not going to lie. That's great sports radio. I'm
awesome.
not going to lie. That is entertaining sports radio. Good job, Ken Carman Show.
Hey, deal with it. Yeah, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because it happened. If Russell Wilson were to go out, if Russell Wilson, his first game here back in, 22, and he came here on Monday Night Football. Was it 22 or 23?
22.
22. We came back here Monday Night Football and beat the Seahawks. We'd have to deal with it. So, it's not that exact situation, but it is what it is. And yes, I would, if I were listening to that live in my car, I was already giggling now.
I would
have
been
been rolling in my whip.
It was so funny. But also, look, earlier at 10:30, you and I talked about the two stories around the league that are most fascinating to us. And you were like, I can't stop watching the garbage dumpster fire that is the Carolina Panthers. There's so much there.
It's
and
like a 12-car Apollo.
Exactly. And you were like, I'm the car that passes and then slows down everyone else because I'm looking, just like we all do.
Yep.
You pretend it's bad football, and then you go, well, let's see what's happening here.
Yeah, how bad is it?
Exactly. That's how I feel about Cleveland and the entire situation with Deshaun. And here's what else is really interesting about Cleveland. They've got a great head coach. They've got a great defense, and it's not just Myles Garrett. They've got great players on that defense. Should be one of the best defenses in football. They have Nick Chubb. He's not healthy right now, but they have Jerome Ford. They have a solid offensive line. They have all the pieces, and on paper, they have the quarterback. They believed in that so much that they gave up 3 first-round picks and $231 million fully guaranteed.
This is what's going to happen with Deshaun. They are going to have to cut him. They're just going to release him because no one's going to pick up that contract.
No.
They're going to have to continue to pay him. Someone's going to pick him up for league minimum and have him compete with a young quarterback. Sounds like Pittsburgh all over again.
And what if it's Justin Fields again? They just bring him in. It's just crazy. It's like I would not compare it in any way to this because everyone's talking about Deshaun Watson, but if the Browns were a better team, it would be one of those things where you're surprised more people didn't talk about missing on Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Like it didn't cost the 49ers anything except for future first-round picks, but they still went to a Super Bowl and they found their quarterback with a $1 million contract in Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. So it worked out for you, and no one really batted an eye that you made a horrible trade.
Nothing ever works out for the Browns. It ain't going to go down like that.
And instead, we're now looking at, like, very soon, you will have the worst contract in the NFL and have made the worst trade in the NFL. And I agree with Kevin Clark. You made a horrible trade when we thought Deshaun might still be great.
Yeah. Like Deshaun was balling. He was elite. He was top 5, top 6 at the time.
He was amazing.
But I'm telling you, that off-field stuff affects your performance.
Yeah. Sorry, Cleveland. A Florida Beer Hockey League team needed a goalie. So they did what any of us would do in 2005 and posted an ad on Facebook Marketplace. Who responded? That would be Hall of Fame goalie Roberto Luongo. He answered it and helped the team to a 4-2 win. You never know when someone's going to respond to the ad, much less when a Hall of Famer goalie says, I'll help you out.
That's awesome. For the guys who scored 2 goals against them,
probably the greatest moment.
They're heroes.
Yeah.
They're going to the bar and saying, boys, we lost, but I got one. I got one against a Hall of Famer. This reminds me of at a very, really lower level.
Yeah.
I got the call to go into a flag football league and just destroyed the competition. Destroyed them. It was easy out there. Won the championship. Boom, chuck the deuces. I'm out of there.
That's the thing that I love. Like, I want them to bring back pros versus Joes so bad. And I want the pros, like, yeah, Aaron Donald would literally kill a man. But even if you got someone that was like a practice squad guy, like someone out there is like, man, against Stone Forsythe, I could whatever. No, you couldn't. You simply could not.
It was the best league, like, to have tiers. It was the best tier. Destroyed them. It was so much fun too.
Oh God,
it's like
amazing.
Heaps played in a flag league, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure
but
he won it every year.
And when Jake did it, it was Curtis. Do you remember they had a couple?
Casey Williams
It was him and Casey Williams on a team.
It wasn't Jermaine Kearse wasn't on it, was he?
No.
Him and
was
Casey
Brian
Williams.
Walters on that team?
I think
Brian
B.
might have
was
been
on that team.
So they had like 3 former players, or like 3 guys that had made it to the pros, 3 guys that were obviously great in college. And again, you get those guys that are like, who are these guys? What'd you ever
They're racking
do?
up like 60 points a game.
Dominated. Absolutely mopped the floor with
Easy.
them. I'd pay to watch that game. I truly would pay to watch it. Next up, CBS Sports Tony Romo. I like introducing him as CBS Sports broadcaster Tony Romo. He spoke to the Ringer's cousin Sal on his podcast on Wednesday. This was about the criticisms he's received as a broadcaster. And he says that he feels a lot of the time it's not warranted.
You know, you get like a turtle back almost in some ways once you played in the NFL, where it's like things can kind of be Teflon, where it just hits you and rolls right off now. But it doesn't mean it doesn't affect the people around you or people that you're with. And so you'll hear about things. And so when you talk about the criticism, I say, well, if you're on Twitter and you're basing it on that, yeah, it's not unwarranted. Maybe I should do those things. Maybe they're right in some ways. Well, that's my job I want to do the best job for this game that you enjoy the most you possibly can. So Sal, you like the Cowboys. So it's like if you're watching a Cowboy game, you want to learn something about the Cowboys, I feel like. You want to enjoy the experience. And if I'm making it not enjoyable, it's like, well, that's on me. I should do a better job with that. So that's my job to go.
So you're saying bring it on. You say bring on the criticism. You want more, in fact.
No, I think the biggest thing is that people don't understand that I don't think the criticism is as strong as what people might describe.
I get it.
The better you are at what you do, there's going to be more people who talk about you.
I misspoke ahead of it. Sorry, I said it's unwarranted. He said it's not unwarranted, that he welcomes criticism because it makes you better.
Whenever you're in media, athletics, you're in the public eye, people are going to critique your performance. You could have a great game, and they'll point out 1 or 2 plays where you didn't get it done. I think Romo understands that. He was critiqued all the time as the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. That's a tough position to be in. And my thing with this is, as long as your producers in the company feels like you're doing a great job and viewership is still up, then you're going to be fine. But it is your responsibility to continue to grow and get better.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
You've, just like anyone, probably received criticism as an athlete. You've also probably just received someone that disagreed with you as a broadcaster. You're dumb. I didn't like that prediction, whatever. Is there one that you felt like the jab hurt a little bit more that was easier to, or that vice versa was easier to brush off? Or did both, you were like, whatever?
It's all about where it's coming from.
Okay.
If it's some guy sitting on the couch who can't do my job, okay. I mean, you are the viewer and the listener, so you take it, but you lean on people that you work with, you work for, and say, like, my agent. I literally just got an email from my agent, and we're going back and forth about my call in the Stanford game. He pointed out some good stuff. He pointed out some things that I need to work on, and that I will take that to heart, and I will have notes in front of me, and when I call my game, Washington State versus San Jose State, boom, I'll apply it. But some hater on X or something like that, I'm like, all right, man, good for you. You were watching, so you still got your viewership.
Yeah, that's a very good point about, like, if someone's a broadcaster and they say, hey, you could have done this, you're like, dang.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good point. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. 2 big NFC West injury updates mean an opportunity for Seattle. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
8:30 on Wednesdays, Daniel Jeremiah.
I don't know where you stop the list of impressive players for the Seahawks on defense. I mean, Leonard Williams was awesome. Obviously, the coverage in the back end. They have 2 picks. They dropped 2 more. I mean, they could easily have 4 interceptions in that game. You look at what they do at the line of scrimmage all the way across the board. They did a nice job of generating pressure. I came out looking at the whole tape, and I was like, okay, this defense is really, really fun.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Would you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is Moneybags, but a $sign instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at 1password.com. That's 2 free weeks at 1password.com.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing. Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Looking for fine jewelry this fall? Good news! Seattle's favorite jeweler for more than 40 years now has 2 locations in the area. Come visit us in our beautiful new store with the biggest selection at South Center Square in Tukwila. Create your own engagement ring with the widest range of diamonds and gemstones and discover unique, fine jewelry designed by our in-house team. No matter your budget, our friendly team is here to help guide you in finding that perfect piece that speaks to you. Visit shaneco.com to find your closest store and hours. We can't wait to see you. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
You probably noticed the temperature starting to fluctuate, and that gets even more pronounced at night. Is your insulation ready for the upcoming cold season? Let me guess, you haven't checked. You're like me, you don't want to go into your attic or your crawl space. Well, that's why Crawl Pros goes where you don't want to. It's Mike Salk here. They came out to my house for a free inspection and found my insulation wasn't up to snuff. So they showed me pictures of the problem, explained it, and then they got it all fixed. Now, Crawl Pros has partnered with Puget Sound Energy to provide special rebates on insulation work. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you may qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Don't wait for the temperatures to drop. Take advantage of these enormous rebates today. Call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch. for free. Again, if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Have you been searching for a local, trustworthy group of professionals to assist with your mortgage? Hey, this is Brock Heward, and you can count on Tila Mortgage. They've been the go-to mortgage experts in Washington for over 25 years. If you are 62 or older and want to learn more about reverse mortgages, well, Tila can help you decide if it's the right choice for you. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your cash flow, Tila can assist you in consolidating your debt with proven programs like a refinance loan or a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, enabling you to maintain your low fixed rate first mortgage. Additionally, if you're purchasing a new home, well, Tila can guide you through the ins and outs of a home loan as well. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Call Tila today at 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046. This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got lots of Seahawks updates coming your way. Here's what's happening. We're going to take a look around the NFL at 12:30. We have Mike McDonald's Wednesday press conference coming up at noon. We're waiting to see if we have an injury update on George Fant from that one. Maybe some stuff on Ken Walker, though we're all expecting that Ken is just fine because he spoke with reporters. Again, that's coming your way in less than 14 minutes. Before we get to that, though, we have some injury updates from around the NFC West, some major updates for the Rams, and then we've got something on Christian McCaffrey from Kyle Shanahan. Bump, I'm going to start in L.A. because L.A. is taking on the Cardinals. They're slight road favorites against the Cardinals in Week 2, and by that I mean they're 1.5-point underdogs at State Farm Stadium. Obviously, it's typically a field goal favorite for a home team, so about an even matchup, slight favorite to the Rams. They will be without Puka Nacua, who's hitting the IR with a knee injury. And maybe even more notable is that they'll be without 2 starting offensive linemen. All 3 are hitting the IR, will be gone for 4 weeks. What does this mean for the Seahawks?
Yo, you got an opportunity. The Cardinals played well against the Buffalo Bills. They were up for the majority of that game. Towards the end of the game, Josh Allen, your fantasy quarterback, helped you out and did his thing. If the Rams are to lose to the Arizona Cardinals, they're going to be 0-3 because the Niners, they play the Niners after that, and we all know even with Christian McCaffrey not being healthy, they found themselves a running back in Mason or Manson, I believe his last name is.
Oh, Mason.
They're going to be just fine. So you're looking at this matchup, and you're hoping for the Cardinals to win because you have a real opportunity. The Cardinals have already lost. That means they're going to be 1-1. The Rams will be 0-2 with the potential to be 0-3. And for the Hawks to jump up and be 2-0 and on top of the division with the San Francisco 49ers. And just for the mentality, too. I understand it's a long season and things could change after that. After the 49ers, the Rams have the Bears and the Packers. Who knows what their health is looking like and who's available. But this is big for the psyche. This is big for the mental. Like the same way I mentioned you are watching a top 10 defense. Mm-hmm. If I'm Mike McDonald, I'm walking around reminding them that we're a top 10 defense right now, boys. Mm-hmm. Let's get it going. The mental is such a crucial part of this game. It will allow you to perform at levels you didn't think you were capable of, and it will galvanize the team and get them going. So, yes, it is early in the season. It is wishful thinking, but it will be absolute fact if the Arizona Cardinals were to get this done, and it'll do something for this team.
I think the Seahawks are in a better place than the Cardinals. The Cardinals were kind of our wild card team in the NFC West, where we thought that they got the best offensive weapon, non-quarterback offensive weapon early with Marvin Harrison Jr., but obviously had a lot of question marks. Most projections had them finishing 4th in the NFC West, and I don't think that them getting off to a nice start, even if it's 2-3, is big trouble for Seattle. I do think the Rams getting off to a hot start is trouble for Seattle. We already know what the 49ers look like. Again, we're talking about them in a couple minutes, but we already know that the 49ers without Christian McCaffrey walloped one of the better defenses in the game. Now, maybe if the Rams were to take over in overtime and win that coin toss, they go and score and Detroit never hits the field. It went into overtime. It went on a David Montgomery touchdown. The Lions did. Mm-hmm. So, this was a pretty fairly matched game. I do think it is harder to maintain success when you're missing important pieces on your offensive line and when you don't have a ton of depth in your wide receiver room. Now, without Cooper Kupp last year, Puka Nacua took off, and that's great because Puka Nacua is a great player. There is not a lot behind Puka and Cooper. That doesn't mean that this offense can't be great. They were quietly expected to be one of the better offenses in the league if they stayed healthy. But it's not like behind them. Like if Tyler Lockett's injured, you still have DK, you have JSN, you have running backs who can be pass catchers. You know, you have some nice depth there. They have Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington. You know what I mean? Like Kyron Williams is their starting running back, and he didn't get too involved. I would know for my fantasy team. What was I thinking? You've got Colby Parkinson at tight end, who was great with Seattle, but not a starter with Seattle. He's their starting tight end. Like they have some depth issues.
Yeah, they do. And what they do have on their side, though, is one of the best offensive minds in the game. So he should be able to figure out some matchups and how to get guys the football. But you always want all your dogs out there at one time. Let's not forget, Puka Nacua held it down while Cooper Kupp was out last year. So now it's role reversal. Now, Cooper, is your turn. Even though this is your team, you are that guy anyway. And then if you don't have Puka Nacua, which you're not, and you have Tyler Johnson who's in there, DeMarcus Robinson, maybe you do see more two-back situations with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. You got to find a way to adjust your game plan a little bit. You also still have Matthew Stafford, who's a veteran in this game, who played for the Detroit Lions and is used to not having any help out there. So we're looking at this situation and saying, what if? What if this were to go down? How does this affect the division? But something tells me it's still going to be a fight.
Yeah.
The Rams put up a great fight against the Detroit Lions, like you pointed out. And the Arizona Cardinals do look a lot better. This will be one of the games every week. We will always pay attention to the NFC West, but this just has a bit more meaning to me now because I want to see how the Rams perform without their guy Puka, and if the Arizona Cardinals can back up what they did last week in Buffalo to the Buffalo Bills. Kyler Murray looked decent. He was their leading rusher. They need to figure out their run game. But, yeah, it's going to be a good matchup.
Let's talk about the 49ers. We know the 49ers, without Christian McCaffrey in week 1, were just fine. Dropped 30-plus on a very good Jets defense and didn't need Christian McCaffrey to do it. Ian Rappaport thinks Christian McCaffrey is a long shot to play in week 2 against the Vikings. Why? Because of this injury update from Kyle Shanahan.
It's not just the calf. It's the Achilles, and the Achilles is tendonitis, and that stuff comes and goes. And when it is acting up, it's something you got to be very careful about. Christian's very diligent about that stuff, and if it was a playoff game, he made it very clear to me he believed he could go. But when you hear that type of stuff, and it's not a playoff game, and it's week 1, and especially when you're dealing with the lower extremities like that, it was a tough decision. But hearing all the words and stuff, in the long run, it made it easy.
It's one thing to say, I think the 49ers could still find a way to win without Brandon Ayuk. They have so many weapons. It's another thing to say, can the 49ers find a way to consistently be great without Christian McCaffrey? Because he was their best weapon.
That's the thing, is I think they're going to be fine.
You think they'll be fine?
I think they'll be fine.
1,400 yards last year.
Yeah, and the reason why I think they're going to be fine is because Christian McCaffrey's been here, a couple of seasons now. Man, that run game's always been on point with Mostert back there, with Wilson back there. It seems like whoever you put in the backfield for the 49ers, they're going to be fine because of offensive line play. Are they going to be Christian McCaffrey? Definitely not. But you still got Debo. You still got Ayuk, who didn't have himself a great game, dropped a pass in the end zone. You still got Kittle. There are ways for them to get through this stint, and they're playing against the Minnesota Vikings, whose defense was okay last year. This is why you pay your guys and you create depth, because guys are going to miss games, guys are going to be banged up. Can Mason duplicate what he did last week, 28 for 147 and a touchdown? I don't even think he needs to. You just be a threat. You carry it 25, 30 times, get around 100 yards, maybe a red zone touchdown. I think they're going to be fine. Are they better with Christian McCaffrey? Most definitely, but they can hold it down for the next couple of weeks.
What is the latest with injury updates for the Seahawks offensive line, including to right tackle George Fant? It's one of the questions I'm sure Mike McDonald will be asked at his press conference. It's live, and it's coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got answers about the linebackers. We certainly got answers about the secondary, the defense as a whole. I felt like we got answers. But the other question mark was the O-line.
After those first two series, if somebody had told you, K9's going to get 100 yards, no chance. I think there's going to be a lot of repair. I think, and the other thing, too, is it's a good thing that Charles Cross took that step.
Yeah.
Because he really did. He took that step to be a leader and to be the best offensive lineman on that line.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Well, the seasons, they're changing. The guys are playing the sports outdoors. I know many are starting to maybe pull the lawnmower out and get back to the landscape and the outdoor work. I'm going to guess, Shannon, at IRG, maybe a little busier season?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, we know when the seasons change, particularly when it gets warmer, people are in their houses pretty much all winter long with our cold weather, rain, et cetera, particularly here in the Puget Sound. And everybody's excited. They want to rush out and get going with their activity. I'm telling you, as a physical therapist for 35 years here, you need to prepare your body. So take time to warm up, increase some flexibility, do some stretches, because if you prepare your body and prevent injuries, those activities outside, particularly that exciting thing, mowing your lawn, is going to be healthier and it's going to be a lot more fun.
And you feel better. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. It's all waiting for you right there at irgpt.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
If you're looking for fun, breathtaking views and outdoor dining, Snoqualmie Casino's the place for you. It's Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino. No matter if it's a meeting like I've done, a night out with friends, a big date night with my wife, I know Snoqualmie Casino has it all. Plus, they open their outdoor dining, so come enjoy dinner overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood offer outdoor dining, so grab a seat and dig in. You can browse the menus at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's Dolphins-Bills for Thursday night football tomorrow. Some injury updates for fantasy football owners of Raheem Mostert here. He's been declared out. Meanwhile, Devon Achane is going to be a game-time decision. He has an ankle injury. The Miami Dolphins could turn to Jeff Wilson Jr. as the primary back with Jalen Wright as a second option. The Mariners fell to the Padres 7-3 in yesterday's series opener. The bats weren't quiet in this one. Seattle had 10 hits, but they were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Mike McDonald going to speak with reporters live from the podium at Virginia Mason Athletic Center in just a couple minutes. We'll interrupt ourselves and send you to that press conference once he's up at the podium. He's not there yet.
Don't be rude.
Though.
Don't interrupt me if I'm talking and I'm deep in thought. Okay?
What if it's like a really sincere moment where you're like, and guys, I just want to say, like,
and then you're like,
I love working with you guys.
Yeah. Later, Bob.
Okay, anyways, stop talking, Bob. We got to send you to Mike McDonald.
I have to do that constantly in the post-game show. And it usually happens to Big Ray. Big Ray be talking, breaking something down, like, Ray, I got to hop in there. Mike McDonald's at the podium.
Is it a running joke that it always happens during Ray
he's
talking?
like, yeah, of course. Yep. It's Big Ray.
One of these days, it's going to be like when Ray thinks he's safe. And he's like, okay, cool. We have no more press conferences. I'm so sorry. I have breaking news.
So sorry to do this to you.
I have to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. And in fact, it would be funnier if, Matt, when Mike McDonald steps to the podium, can you jump in and interrupt Bump?
Absolutely I can. I've been waiting.
Why are you so excited for that?
Why are you so excited to do that?
I think
Matt?
it's just going to be fun.
It's kind of nice. Look, as someone who gets breaking news sometimes, it is kind of nice to be like, I'm so sorry, hold that thought, unfortunately.
I see it in your face, too.
Yeah.
You make this face to where you're like, you're pretending like you're listening to what I'm saying, but Curtis is in your ear. You're like, okay, wrap it up.
I have like a glimmer in my eye of breaking news.
Yeah.
Yes, here we go. We're rolling with it. I'm very curious to hear an update for George Fant. Bump, let's say that Fant can't go in week 2. I mean, it was a little nerve-wracking to me that he was declared out so early. What's your confidence level in the offensive line against New England?
Here's the thing is I'm confident that mistakes will be corrected no matter who it is out there. And that's all I'm looking for. You brought Fant over here to kind of be the guy just in case Abe is not ready to go. But it didn't matter who was in there. When Fant was in there, the O-line didn't look good. When Bradford was in there, when Haynes, it didn't matter. You know, it's okay, let's just get better. So if there's someone who needs more work, I would say the youngsters behind Fant need to work more than Fant does. Of course, Fant has to get better. No one really played well now offensive line, minus Connor Williams. My man was on point. You know what? Charles Cross played good too. There were 3 other guys that's, okay, we all got to get better. So I think my confidence level is exactly the same because no matter how you put it, they didn't play well as a unit. And everyone needs to get better.
I feel like I had so many questions about the linebackers heading into this one, and maybe because it felt like the defense played so well, I feel less panicked. Like I don't feel, super nervous heading into New England. But I do feel like the offensive line underperformed my own expectations, and just overall it makes me nervous because I knew there were question marks. It's not like you're watching the Mariners, Logan Gilbert has a bad day, you go, I'm not worried about it. He could have 3 bad starts in a row and I'm not worried about it. I do get nervous about a bad start with the offensive line because frankly, I have questions.
Yeah. You want to see, you can't start the game off sack, interception, false start. I mean, it wasn't the worst, but it was one of the worst starts I've seen for this offense in a long time. So you just want to see progress, man. Can the run game get going sooner? Bradford had himself a tough game, man. He had a couple of holding penalties. I believe he had like a false start too. Like Bradford needs to play better, and I think he can. He's just so young; he hasn't gotten that many snaps. So there's potential there for growth. And with how bad that offensive line played, you still got the W, and you still have opportunity for growth. It's best case scenario with the start and the way this team executed in the first half. This is where coaching comes in. How do you relay the game plan and the technique to your guys in offensive line to where they look like one unit? Because they didn't look like a unit. They look like two pieces and three other guys who were struggling just to kind of find their footing. I think, and also that's where I'm not against guys not playing in the preseason, but that's where not playing in the preseason shows up, is that you're not moving as one on that O-line.
I'm just a little bit. I was surprised, not necessarily by Anthony Bradford, who was a rookie last year, is just in his second season. Your other option there is Christian Haynes. I was surprised by Laken Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Like I expected a little bit more from Laken.
Yeah, that's that is the challenge of having a whole bunch of new faces on this O-line, not playing a lot together in the preseason, and having to figure it out in real time. But if anything good comes from that, there's teaching film. And things would happen in practice and in a game, and literally in the huddle, we'd be like, man, that's teaching film right there. We're going to learn from that situation. So they're learning. And Huff has shown that he can coach guys up. Did at University of Washington. Let's do it here.
Matt, the 206 says that they'd like to request you interrupt us with, hey, Bump, can it? Mac D is up.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that, but I am
Curtis
going to
is
yell very
laughing.
loudly.
Curtis is laughing so loud I could hear him without his mic on.
I love the Mac D. That's great.
Mac D's up. Just stop that right now. 253 says, I said it can't get worse. That's one way to look at the offensive line play in the first half.
It can get worse, trust. It can.
I mean, they managed to make some adjustments heading into the second, right? I mean, I know that Mark Schlereth, we played that sound earlier, and he said, look, they just stuck with their philosophy. But it felt like adjustments were made.
There are adjustments. Schlereth is just smarter than everybody, and he's reminding you that he's smarter than everybody with that comment. Because he was a center, right? Right, a center or guard. Anyway, as an offensive lineman who played in the league, it's simple to him. It's like, we're not changing the play calls. Maybe we're running left a bit more, or maybe, communication is different. There are adjustments. The coaches are talking as they're walking down to the locker room. They're talking to you guys, getting information. The information you are getting and giving will affect the outcome of the game or how the game looks like moving forward. It is adjustment. Schlereth is just smarter than everybody, and he just reminded you that. Simple game.
Do you think they could carry their second half game plan into a game against New England?
I don't know if they have to. It might be a different game plan. New England is a different team with different personnel. You have your foundation of who you are, right? And how do you run this play against this front? How do you run that play against that front? There are adjustments that are made according to the front that you're seeing and the depth. Now, Denver ran a 3-4. The Patriots run a 3-4. So your rules are going to be the same essentially, but how aggressive you are attacking Cody Barton might be different than the way you attack linebacker for the Patriots.
Does it make you at all concerned that the Bengals, who we all thought would be an explosive offense, got no passing touchdown against New England in Week 1?
I don't know yet. I'm going to watch that film tonight. You expect Joe Burrow to come out there and at least toss one of them things out there.
Right.
But chemistry was off. T. Higgins wasn't there. Jamar Chase hasn't practiced all year with this team. Chemistry is important. I know they played with each other last year and in college, so you would think it's just like riding a bike. But timing, man. Timing, reading body language, and getting everyone on the same page. It matters for something. I think that's what we saw.
And this feels, too, like it'll be another defense when Mike McDonald steps up to the podium.
Shut up. Mike McDonald's ready.
Okay.
Very, very well coached, obviously. But they play tough. They have good players. They play hard. All the fundamentals, just go right down the list. Check, check, check. Play square, get off blocks. What it takes to play really good run defense. Numbers back it up. Tape backs it up. So we got a great challenge ahead of us.
Coach, works out the last two Super Bowl opponents are the first two opponents this year for the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's right.
What's your memory of those two Super Bowls?
Oh, man. When we won, I was in L.A. with my sister and my nephew, and that was pretty awesome. When we lost, I don't remember. But that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that played out like that.
Mike, you obviously have ties that you're from that area. I know you moved when you were a kid, but what do you remember just from being a sports fan in New England?
Yeah, I moved in '94, so that was before they went to the Super Bowl. I think in '96. My first kind of football memory is really my dad took me to the old Foxborough when Drew got drafted. We got like a tour of the stadium and stuff, and that was pretty cool. But it's a long time ago.
Mike, in playing good run defense without giving all the inside stuff, how important is it obviously to set the edge and get that front push up there? And
it's the name of the game. Then you just got to get the guy on the ground. Again, people have different philosophies on how you play the run. I think our philosophy and New England's philosophy is pretty similar about trying to build a wall, having knockback, staying square, having edges. Some people kind of opt for hey, let's destroy the line on the way to the QB, so to speak, and then let the second level and third level kind of clean it up. It's good. There's a lot of good run defenses that do that. Our philosophies are kind of on that other end of the spectrum.
At the end of the day, how important is the run defense to tackle? You talked a little bit about last game that did clean up a little bit of that.
Sure.
So how much is that going into?
Well, it's about space and angles. So you have to understand the angle that you need to take, especially with the runners that New England has, and it's about getting multiple hats to the party because they're big physical backs that fall forward, and there's a huge difference between making contact a yard or two past the line of scrimmage and falling forward for 4 versus making contact there, and now there's multiple guys at the party. And New England does a good job of kind of getting a hat for the hat. So there's a lot of one-on-one matchups that are going to be happening that we're going to have to win in order to have success.
Mike, what was yesterday like? Sort of first time after a regular season game, bringing the guys in, kind of going through the sort of first process of breaking down the film and looking at what happened.
I thought it was a great day. The first part of the day is about you're coming in with a fresh mind. You had a day off. The emotions kind of going down, which is nice. It's a little bit more of a surgical approach. Kind of debrief on the game, and then we take a break, and then we flip the page, and when we move forward to the next opponent. So we focused on New England the latter part of those meetings, and then coaches are back to going to work, and onward we go.
What did you think of the game DK had and kind of the way they messed up with him with Surtain?
I thought DK did a lot of great things. I mean, there was an opportunity for him to have make a play down the field, but found the ball later in the game. Like I mentioned to you, there's a lot of little things that he does that creates success for the rest of the team, and that's big. So he needs to keep doing those things, and obviously we got to try to get the ball to him earlier in the game to get him involved and get him rocking and rolling, and I'm confident we'll do that. But I thought DK played a really good game.
Coach, New England ran inside zone more than any team in the NFL last week. Ramondre Stevenson had almost all his yards after contact.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges do they present running right at you?
Well, like I said, there's a hat for a hat, and it's kind of no fair dodging straight downhill. They have more schemes than just the duo play and things like that. I think some of the front structures that Cincinnati was giving them and the success they had with that play probably lent to more frequency and led to that. So it's good job by them. But they're a sound football team. Everybody knows they're all on the same page. Just like they are on defense, they're square at the point of attack. They're coming right at you. So there's not a lot of secrets to what they're doing, but it's very well designed. It's just it's good football.
Keon White showed up in the stats for New England. How did he show up on tape?
Well, Keon's a really good player. I mean, he can play inside and out. Just kind of fits the mold of someone that's been in that defense for a long time. He can play inside shade, inside rush, outside rush. Plays very hard. He's a big guy, so they move them around to kind of fit where they want them to fit within all the schemes. So, yeah, it's just one of many good players on their side.
You mentioned on Sunday, Reek made that play at the end of the game after not getting a lot of action his way during the game. What's the challenge for a corner when a team's not throwing your way to kind of stay in the game throughout?
I've never had that feeling, so I can't speak for it's mental toughness. I felt like he was involved throughout the whole game. Like you felt Reek throughout the whole game. It didn't feel like he wasn't like some lone soldier out there just kind of hanging out. Like you felt him in the run game, felt him getting to the ball in the zones, and he was active, with the guys that he was asked to guard. So I thought he did a great job.
Any updates on George Fant, Ken Walker, and Uchenna Nwosu?
Yeah, we're gonna see how those guys play out. Chenna will be out this week, but the rest of the guys coming off the last game, we'll kind of take it day by day here with the reports and everything. But yeah, Chenna will be out.
Will they practice today, Walker and Fant?
We'll see.
You mentioned that there's some similarities in how you want to play defense and how the Patriots play defense. What do you like about, I don't know if you would call it a chess match or just like an all-out matchup against a great defensive scheme?
Yeah, I like the players are out there playing, and they have really good players with sound, good fundamental schemes and change-ups. I know we have really good players and with what I believe are sound schemes and change-ups. So, we're going to have to see how each team's trying to attack each other throughout the game. And, this is going to be a four-quarter old-school football game. Like, it's going to come down to who makes the plays at the end. That was the message to the team today, and it's going to be a great game.
Coach, Bill Belichick's not with the Patriots anymore, but he's obviously had a ton of success on the defense side of the ball. What have you picked up studying him over the years?
Man, the record speaks for itself. I mean, he's probably the best coach to ever do it. Someone that I've watched, coming up through my coaching career. I don't know how you can have any more respect for a coach. I'd say it's like the first thing I'm thinking about is like toughness and preparation. Just a thorough understanding of the game and how to put your players in position to succeed, how to stay ahead situationally, how to win football games without, giving anything up cheap. In a way, just like along with some of the other great, football coaches of our generation and generations past, kind of molding the game and, evolving it over the course of his career. So, his fingerprints are all over this team still. And I know Coach Mayo has a ton of respect for him, and he worked for him for a long time, played under him and all that. So, it's a New England Patriot football team that you're used to seeing.
Have you crossed paths with Mayo much over your career?
No, I just met him at owners' meetings the one time, and that was it.
You and him are two of the three youngest coaches in the league this year. Do you have any thought about why maybe younger coaches are getting more opportunities to be head coaches, sort of in this era of the league?
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't really want to speculate on it. But I think Coach Mayo and I would agree that this game is not about us. It's not. It's about our guys going out and playing and making the plays that are going to take to win the game. It's really our age really has nothing to do with what's about to happen on Sunday.
Mike, when you got here traveling in from west to east coast,
Yeah.
Are you just inheriting what the team has done, or did you study the bio?
Well, we've had a lot of success going east, and there's been some research into it too. So a lot of it actually is relation to sleep, believe it or not. So we talked about the team today. We had sleep specialists come in, trying to really be thorough in that approach. But a lot of it's with what we've done here over the past. We've built off of that.
In general, it's keep them on their schedule as if they were still on the West Coast time.
Yeah, like keeping West Coast time. We're going to go out on Friday. And some other things going on too. But yeah, the main gist of it's going to stay the same.
Mike, what's been the messaging from week 1 to week 2, that improvement? I mean, I know the players want to improve too.
Yeah,
but what's
sure.
the coaching as that message.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time kind of changing up themes and stuff. So the stuff I've told you guys is what I've told the team. A lot of great things happened in the first game, which is great to see. Like talking about effort and composure, all those things. But you have to build on those things and take the next step. You could rattle out moving on to the next week, but there's a lot of things we need to clean up that we can build off of. I mean, it's 1 week, it's a great win, but now it's time to turn the page. We got to focus on our preparation. I think our weekly practices can take a step up. And really, I mean, that's the only thing we can focus on today is just having a great Wednesday, so that we can have you can't have a great Thursday and say have a great Wednesday. So that's kind of the thought right now.
Mike, what was your thought on A.J. Barner and the way he kind of played jumping in there with Farrell out last week? And a quick update on Farrell, too.
Yeah, I thought A.J. played really well. Can do a lot of things at tight end for us and move around. Excited to see his growth moving forward. And, Farrell, I know with the connection to New England stuff, he really wants to play. So, we'll see with where Farrell ends up by the end of the week.
You guys signed Jared Hall last week as the third quarterback. Have you gotten much of a sense of what you might have with him and kind of where he fits in?
Well, he's someone that I think that has a little bit of history with, we've done a lot of homework on him as he was coming out before I was hired. So, we respect him as a player. I've never had a defense go against him, so I'm not like a foremost expert on his game. But he's come in, he's done a great job. He's got a great attitude. He's learning the scheme. A little bit, the vocabulary is a little different than he's used to, so there's a little bit of learning curve there, but he'll pick it up in a hurry.
Back to the topic of schedules, what do you like about structuring your week so that the players' off day is Monday as opposed to Tuesday?
I'd say the main thing is to really just be able to take a deep breath after the game and then be able to move on. That's the main thing. Take the emotion out of it, be able to kind of digest, understand why you won or lost, where you need to improve. The guys get it the next day, and then you're once they come in, you're kind of in next week's mode. There's no like break. It's, hey, this is what happened. Let's move on. Okay, now it's like an extended week on that next opponent.
What do you like about the packages that have Kayvon in there with Julian and Rayshon?
Well, it's an opportunity to get a really good player on the field in Kayvon. Opportunity to get Jenks closer to the ball. We'll be moved. I don't think you're going to just see that combination all the time with those guys, but for that specific game, we felt like it gave us a good chance to get Kayvon on the field, get Spoon some reps at corner. But Kayvon's earned the opportunity to have reps. He's had a great camp, and that was really the thought behind it.
And you hadn't seen Draymond Jones much, I guess, in training camp. How did you feel like he played Sunday? What do you have for you guys?
Draymond, he had a solid start. There's so much more that he can do, and he knows that. I mean, but it's all positive. It's just let's keep ramping him up. I mean, we went in with a little bit of a tighter game plan with him than we probably would, come week 10 or so. So the goal right now is to keep finding those things that he does really well, get him doing those things more, and we'll build it here over the next, several weeks.
Jacoby Brissett's been around the AFC for a while. What have you seen when you've gone with him?
Yeah, Jacoby's he's a really good quarterback. I mean, this guy's he's highly intelligent. He's underratedly mobile. I mean, if you let him run, he can move going forward. I think he delivers an accurate ball. He plays efficiently. He definitely has a very, very strong grasp of what they're asking him in terms of executing their system. So they're playing clean football right now, and doesn't look like the new age like sexy offenses of that you're seeing these days. But I'll tell you what, it's really, really effective, and it comes down to how you move the football, and they're doing that effectively right now.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, that will do it for Mike McDonald. Coming up, we're going to take a look around the NFL. Your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
I thought it might be the best tackling performance I've ever witnessed is watching an NFL game by the Seahawks. I don't know that there was 2, 3, 4 yards after contact in that game by the Broncos. From the Broncos' perspective, it was one of the most pathetic performances I've watched. And at the same time, I was marveling at the Seahawks' ability to tackle, the way they broke on balls, the things they broke up.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Would you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Well, you probably noticed the temperature starting to fluctuate, and that gets even more pronounced at night. Is your insulation ready for the upcoming cold season? Let me guess, you haven't checked. You're like me, you don't want to go into your attic or your crawl space. Well, that's why Crawl Pros goes where you don't want to. It's Mike Salk here. They came out to my house for a free inspection and found my insulation wasn't up to snuff. So they showed me pictures of the problem, explained it, and then they got it all fixed. Now, Crawl Pros has partnered with Puget Sound Energy to provide special rebates on insulation work. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you may qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Don't wait for the temperatures to drop. Take advantage of these enormous rebates today. Call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free. Again, if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Hawks live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports.
Seahawks Insider. Brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks defense racked up 56 tackles against the Broncos on Sunday, and it often felt like the Denver players had nowhere to go once they got a hold of the ball. Mark Schlereth of our sister station Denver Sports joined Wyman and Bob yesterday, and he was very impressed.
I thought it might be the best tackling performance I've ever witnessed watching an NFL game by the Seahawks. It just was like, either we got a bunch of dudes that have zero athletic ability to break a tackle in space, or they're the greatest tackling team I've ever witnessed. And maybe it's a little combination of both, but I don't know that there was 2, 3, 4 yards after contact in that game by the Broncos.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
This is Stacey Rost. Is that leaky faucet driving you crazy? Don't wait until it becomes a flood. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. At Ben's Plumbing, they pride themselves on 5-star service, where your satisfaction is their priority. Whether it's a stubborn clog or a complete plumbing overhaul, their team of dedicated professionals is here to help with no commission sales tactics. Just honest, reliable service you can count on. Call today at 206-789-5353 or visit Benz.plumbing. That's Benz.plumbing.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we'll start with Tyreek Hill. He was asked about his run-in with Miami-Dade police, and he's not holding back on what he thinks should be the punishment for the officer who cuffed him.
So you want the officer to be
gone. He got to go, man. Because in that instant right there, like, not only did he treat me bad, you know what I'm saying, he also treated my teammates with, disrespect. He had some crazy words towards them, and they ain't even do nothing. Like, what did they do to you? They just walking on the sidewalk. So, I don't know, bro. Like, he got to go, man. Like, it's not too many times that cheaters say people got to go, but what they say on Wild or Not? Gone.
That officer is currently on paid administrative leave from the Miami-Dade police.
So I wasn't here yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to respond to the situation. So I'll respond right now. Listen, Tyreek Hill did not help the situation. He didn't help the situation. If I were in that situation, I would have handled it completely different. As a black man, rules a little different for you, okay? 2, the officer was completely wrong, though. Like, you're supposed to be the trained person to know how to de-escalate situations. You're snatching them out the car. Like, it was crazy. Hill did not help the situation. It did not warrant the treatment that he got, though. And then his teammates stopping by to make sure things were okay. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that either. They were not disrupting anything that was going on. Should the guy be gone? I don't know. What's his history? I also think that people mess up and make mistakes as well. If he is a repeat offender, like we've seen some of these cops who've been in these situations, then yeah, probably. But both sides are wrong. The PD was most wrong because you ain't no reason to snatch him out the car like that and put him on the ground like he's got a weapon or something. It was crazy. But again, if I were in a ring situation, window would have been rolled down. Take my license, give me my ticket, let me get out of here.
Marcel Louis-Jacques, who covers the Dolphins for ESPN, says that Hill's team was contacted by a legal team representing Officer Danny Torres, who's the officer who was placed on administrative leave, in an effort to apologize, but that request was declined. Another kind of layer that I want to add on to is the idea of who deserves what kind of treatment. And I just want to say that my opinion is that we should look at things in isolated incidences. Whatever your feelings are on Tyreek Hill, who most certainly has done things before that should and did warrant a lot of criticism, okay? He's been accused of domestic violence. Like, there's been all kinds of things against Tyreek Hill. However, Tyreek Hill was a citizen who did not have a warrant out for his arrest, who was not, should not have been placed under arrest, right? Like, just a citizen driving down the street who was pulled over for reckless driving and cited for not having a seatbelt. That does not need to escalate to being placed on the ground in handcuffs when what Tyreek Hill did was be kind of rude. You know what I mean? Like, if you're the officer, you have a very difficult job already, and I respect that job immensely, but this isn't a child that you need to chide for being reckless. Your job is to de-escalate a situation, even if someone is to you like, oh God, this person's annoying. He's not drunk.
Right.
He's not yelling. He's just being kind of rude. Sorry, you're not a parent in this moment.
Be the professional in the situation. That's it.
It's just, and I know that there are people out there who are like, Reek was in the wrong. It's like, he was rude.
He did not handle it the way that I teach my kids to handle that situation.
Absolutely not.
But he also didn't handle it in a way that warranted him being snatched out the car, shoved down on the ground. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's about who had the greater responsibility in that moment. Who has greater responsibility truly in this moment? A civil servant or a random dude getting pulled over? It may not seem fair to you, but it's the civil servant, it's the police officer. And the reason you take that job on is because it's incredibly difficult. It is so difficult. And I really have admiration for people who dedicate their lives to public service. But you take on a responsibility in that moment that this officer did not showcase.
Yep.
So that's that on that. All right, next up, Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets, was asked if getting Hassan Reddick signed became more important after his team's performance against the 49ers Monday night.
You know, from a pass game standpoint, like I said, I thought San Francisco did a really nice job getting rid of the ball. We sacked them a couple times, but look, we're always going to want our own in the building. It is what it is, but you know, whenever the deal gets done, it gets done.
Do you think that the Jets defense looked the way it did in any way because Hassan Reddick was not on the field for them?
He would have helped, but the misdirection, the leaking the fullback out the backfield after showing a lead zone, popping it over the top, the drags across the field. I understand that the 49ers have not won the big game in a very long time, but there's a reason why their offense is considered one of the best every single year because of the play designs and the athletes that they have over there. Could Hassan Reddick made an impact in the game? Yes. I've never seen one man win a football game, though.
Yeah, it's a fair question to ask about, like, hey, you have this star defensive player who's not out there with you, and your defense was chewed up by San Francisco. Also, you know, very related to this, when does this become a Robert Saleh question? Whether or not he's the right guy for the job.
Where was he at before this?
San Francisco.
Who was his offensive coordinator there?
That would be Kyle Shanahan.
So if anybody should have been ready for at least some of the things that were happening, it would be him. Saleh got 1, maybe 2 more years.
Yep. ESPN's Dan Graziano shared a way for the Browns to get out of the remainder of Deshaun Watson's contract.
When they signed the contract in 2022, they put language in it that protected him. NFL contracts have default language that says if you get in certain kinds of trouble, do certain things, your guaranteed money can be voided. When 2022, Deshaun Watson and his agent put language in the contract that protected against that happening if there was suspension related to the charges that were already out there. But when you read his contract, which I did a couple times last night to make sure, it's very clear that that only applied to if he missed games in the 2022 and 2023 seasons. So the way I read it is, if he's suspended this year, they can void the remaining guarantees on his contract. Remember, he has $46 million a year guaranteed through the year 2026.
Unsurprisingly, there are people, Bump, wondering whether or not this is all some like setup for the Browns to get out of this contract, to which I would say this man has been the subject of what, 20 plus lawsuits? I kind of believe another lawsuit.
I mean, your best bet is to do everything you can to cut ties with this dude at this point. If he would have came out, here's the messed up part. If he would have came out that first week, 300, 2 touchdowns, look good, you think, okay, all right, how are we going to work through this? Let's figure out a plan. But the fact you're bringing all this baggage with you and you ain't even looking like a top-tier quarterback, it's too much, man. I think it's Deshaun Watson, man. I think after this, he might not get a job in the league, at least for a year or two. He's going to have to sit for a while.
Yeah, like if you didn't have the lawsuits on top of all of this, you'd be like, man, this guy completely fell off. Like, let's see if he gets another chance to showcase how good he was. He's still so young. The lawsuits make it to where it's like, did this guy learn? And granted, this lawsuit is not, it's a new lawsuit, not from a new incident. The incident itself is from 2020. it would be obviously far more. It is incredibly concerning. But if it would be something where it's like a new lawsuit from something that just happened, it's like, oh, he's not going to learn. Like, he simply has not learned. This is a horrible trade. This was a horrible failure of a trade that is going to cost the Browns. Already it's cost them 3 first-round picks and $230 million, and is now costing them maybe a season plus more.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, you guys. We are going to bring on Mike Golick Jr. coming up in about 20 minutes. It is our weekly hit with Mike. So excited to talk to him about some college football. Obviously, take a look at the Seahawks coming up at 1 p.m.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
We got 17 games to go. It will tell the rest of the story. It was a hard pass by you and me and the organization. We are not giving up pitching in the 2024 offseason. That cannot be the conversation in the 2025 offseason. It cannot be, because you just saw a historic run. You just saw these guys basically starting every 5th day and doing things that have not been done in totality out of a rotation, and you're 1 game over 500. So this has to now be on the table.
It has to be on the table. On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about the true cost of a DUI. The humiliation, heartache, and fear are only the beginning. A DUI is a gross misdemeanor with serious consequences like jail time, fines, and license suspensions. There's some bitter surprises too. DUI hinders employment, other legal matters, and even custody outcomes. Don't even get me started on insurance premiums or being turned away at the border. You need the true value of our top-rated lawyers. We're fighting for you. So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. The real cost of a DUI conviction is like a cell phone bill. There's a lot tacked on. Fortunately, your investment in 1-800-DUI-AWAY can pay for itself many times over. 1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Maura Dooley here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
If you're looking for fun, breathtaking views and outdoor dining, Snoqualmie Casino's the place for you. It's Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino. No matter if it's a meeting like I've done, a night out with friends, a big date night with my wife, I know Snoqualmie Casino has it all. Plus, they open their outdoor dining, so come enjoy dinner overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood offer outdoor dining, so grab a seat and dig in. You can browse the menus at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, tomorrow during the huddle, we're going to have a 2-hour preview where Bump and I are going to sit down with Dave Wyman. We'll talk to some Seahawks players, hear from some of our favorite Seahawks voices, and we're really diving into week 2. So what we're doing now instead of diving in is dipping our toe. Just testing to see how the water feels for a week 2 trip to Gillette Stadium to take on the New England Patriots. Let's start with the defensive look. Daniel Jeremiah on Brock and Salk this morning said, look, it's hard to figure out where offenses can attack.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it, and I'm sitting here going, okay, where's where are you going at these guys? How are you attacking them? What's going to be the plan? And they creased them on one run inside, and that was kind of it. I mean, so I'm like, okay, maybe they see a team with an elite offensive line. Maybe they can try and get them a little bit in the run game, but that's nitpicking because there literally are legit players at all levels, and they're all fast, man. They all can run.
How is Daniel Jeremiah way higher on this defense than I am? I look at New England, an offensive line that I don't think is that great, and I go, oh, maybe this jumbo tight end package they have can really test this defensive line. But let's talk about it. If you were heading into week 2 looking at the defense as a New England Patriot, what kind of test might Seattle be facing?
If I'm New England, what was Bo Nix able to do that was just underneath passes, right? The quick game, because the DBs were playing from depth because they're able to rally to the football. So what I would do, I'd just take the quick game early. Take the hitch, take the slant, get the football out early, get to 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, and then the playbook opens up from there. Also, I try to go right up the middle of the defense whenever Boye Mafe is in and just test the rookie. Test him out. Let's see what happens. Let's trap him. Let's run some power. Let's do some movements. And what do you do to a defense that is aggressive and playing downhill? You play action them and you RPO the heck out of them. So if I am the Patriots, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking the quick game early. I'm testing the middle of the field when Boye Mafe is in there. I'm trapping him. I am using guard tackle pulls and tight end pulls in my run game and then throwing RPOs off of that to get those linebackers in a bind.
Why do you RPO the heck out of them?
RPO because you can always be right with RPO. You're going to RPO, you're going to read one person. If you are reading the backside or the weak side linebacker, all right, if he bites, I'm throwing. If he stays, I'm holding him. I got to find formation that gets me in a favorable box. So a favorable box is anything that's 4 to 5 guys in the box. You got 5 linemen plus your running back. Formations that get you there and then you read a linebacker and you take your chances like that. Then you try to catch him in man. And if you're able to catch him in man, that's where you audible and take your shots.
Yeah, it was interesting. Daniel Jeremiah saying like, yeah, I'm trying to find weaknesses and I don't. It feels like we went from 1 to 60 in terms of maybe some outside perspective on the Seahawks defense. I mean, no national guest we had on predicted this team would make the playoffs. Not a single one. The most high in opinion was Sheil Kapadia, who said, I think they could be a top 5 defense. Like, and I mostly picked them just kind of as a wild card, which I think could be really fun. Like, there's just enough here that I really like. Sheil used to cover the Seahawks, so he knows them better than most reporters and has that insight, and also probably why he leaned in that direction. Do you think that this team showed so much, this defense showed so much in week 1 that you kind of get the optimism that people now have?
Yeah. Excuse me. For sure. It was impressive. And to hear the outside people talk about this defense is refreshing because you feel like at times you can get caught in the moment. You can get caught just reacting to what you saw. That's why I always wait until I really look at the all 22. Sorry, initially this is what I felt. And that's why I don't get mad at coaches when they're like, I got to look at the film and see exactly what happened, because feelings are different. It felt like that defense was flying around making plays. It felt like they were better tacklers. You don't know for sure until you watch the film. So people have watched the film. They keep in perspective. I think some at least keep in perspective that you are going up against Bo Nix and this Denver team that isn't very good, offensively at least. And you allow that to influence your real analysis of the situation. What is real about this team, or what was real about this team, is that they were faster after checking the film. They hardly missed any tackles after checking the film. The Big Cat affected the game on a different level after checking the film. So, yeah, you're drinking the Kool-Aid for now. You know why? Because they're a top 10 defense, Stacey.
You're right.
Top
You're right.
10.
Top 5 in terms of yards per play allowed. Tied for second there. Last 2.5 minutes here. Let's explore the same question with the offensive side of things. If you're Seattle's offense, what test might you be getting against the Patriots?
They struggled with pressure to start the game.
Yep.
Expect pressure. They struggled with stunts. Expect stunts. They weren't able to run the football early the way that they wanted to. I would expect guys to load the box and dare you to beat them on the outside at this point, because the offensive line showed in one game that there are some communication issues, some technique issues, and they could be vulnerable. I mean, there's a reason why Geno wasn't able to toss the ball down the field like we thought he was going to, because he didn't have the time to do it. Mm-hmm. And Grubb realized he's not going to have that 3.5 seconds to get into his drop, pat the ball, and let it go. I got to change the way that I'm calling this play or these plays. There's only really a couple of shots. DK with a ball down the sideline, I think he should have caught. Got Tyler Lockett down the sideline a couple of times. One was a 15-yard gain back shoulder. One was a 19-yard gain back shoulder. And then you have Zach Charbonnet leaking out the backfield on a wheel route down the sideline. We didn't see the shots that we thought we were going to see, but I think it's directly correlated to the time that Geno didn't have. And I think that's good on Ryan Grubb, realizing that and not putting his quarterback in that situation, because he clearly wanted to push the ball down the field to start the game.
C-Mike Spin Move on X.com said the Seahawks just took one shot of more than 20 yards downfield. Yeah. So obviously you were looking at those stats saying you think that like 90% of it is just pressure related. Do you think there was like a game plan situation? Do you think it was, or do you just say like, no, I think this can be an explosive offense. I don't think we've seen everything Ryan Grubb wants to do. I just think this offensive line could not keep people upright.
Yeah, I think it's the O-line, man. If those are the conversations you have when you're Schlereth, air quotes, not adjusting. What you're doing is you're getting to the sideline, you're talking to the offensive line, you have the iPads out there. All right, you give it a couple series. We can't handle these dudes right now, so how do we adjust? You go quick game, you run the ball, you run your crossing routes. That's something we knew we were going to see, too, with the crossing routes, and we saw that. One that sealed the game for the Seahawks with that Tyler Lockett catch. So we saw some things that we knew we were going to see, and just a little sprinkle of getting down the field. If you can protect the quarterback, shots will happen, but if you can, it's impossible.
Mike Golick Jr., one half of Gojo and Golick on DraftKings Network, is going to join us next for a look back at everything we saw in Week 1. He played for Notre Dame. Are you going to ask him?
Most definitely. Have to.
Should we make it the first question?
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't want to get into like.
I want people to know that I'm throwing immediately free. I'm not asking. I'm scared.
I'll ask him.
I'm scared.
I will.
Okay, Mike Golick Jr. joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got answers about the linebackers. We certainly got answers about the secondary, the defense as a whole. I felt like we got answers. But the other question mark was the O-line.
After those first two series, if somebody had told you K9's going to get 100 yards, no chance. I think there's going to be a lot of repair. I think, and the other thing too is it's a good thing that Charles Cross took that step.
Yeah,
because he really did. He took that step to be a leader and to be the best offensive lineman on that line.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Sure, you can fill up at any gas station, but at any gas station, could you score 2 tickets to a Seahawks game? Sure can't. So head to a 76 or Conoco station and turn your next pit stop into a touchdown. When you buy 8 or more gallons with the Fuel Forward app, you can enter to win 2 Seahawks tickets. Next stop, Lumen Field. See official rules for details. Valid July 29th to December 15th, 2024. Copyright 2024 Phillips 66 Company. All rights reserved.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Is something bugging you? If you're dealing with a pest problem, get the relief you need and the long-term protection you deserve with Issaquah Pest Control. Look, rodents and bugs can ruin your insulation or the structure of your home or business. Before it becomes a more costly issue, call Issaquah Pest Control, the fast, kind, and professional pest control service. And if you're in the pest control business or have an interest, they're hiring, so join the team. Issaquah Pest Control, serving the entire Puget Sound. IssaquahPest.com.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Hello? Hey, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. Did you know we've got you fully covered?
I've taken up beekeeping. I'm always covered.
I'm talking the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage at up to half the cost.
Same honey, half the work?
Exactly.
Sweet.
Just call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Have you been searching for a local, trustworthy group of professionals to assist with your mortgage? Hey, this is Brock Heward, and you can count on Tila Mortgage. They've been the go-to mortgage experts in Washington for over 25 years. If you are 62 or older and want to learn more about reverse mortgages, well, Tila can help you decide if it's the right choice for you. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your cash flow, Tila can assist you in consolidating your debt with proven programs like a refinance loan or a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, enabling you to maintain your low fixed rate first mortgage. Additionally, if you're purchasing a new home, well, Tila can guide you through the ins and outs of a home loan as well. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Call Tila today at 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's Dolphin Bills tomorrow for Thursday night football. The Finns already have some issues in the backfield. Raheem Mostert has been declared out. Fellow running back Devon Achane will be a game-time decision with an ankle injury. The Mariners fell to the Padres 7-3 in yesterday's series opener. The Bats weren't quiet in this one. Seattle had 10 hits, but they were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
Now, Mike Golick Jr. Wednesdays during football season with Bump and Stacy.
Mike Golick Jr. joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Mike, how was that for a week one in the NFL?
Ooh, I tell you what, we got a little bit of everything, didn't we, guys? We came out the gates humming already. I feel good.
I feel really good. So we're going to start, obviously, talking about the Seahawks, but we have a lot of questions to get to about a couple different storylines here. I'm going to start with looking at the Seahawks defense. Mike, the big question was whether or not Mike, my co-host, is shaking his head because he has a different question he wants to ask you. I'm going to put the Seahawks on pause. I know. Mike, you can guess what it is.
Mike, there's no way we were going to have you on this show,
I'm
Mike.
I'm so sorry, Mike. This is a hostile environment.
Not ask about your boys.
No, we do.
We have to.
We do.
It's my duty to ask, Mike. You're the only guy I know who went to the great university. How you feeling, and what's going on over there in Notre Dame?
Oh, I'm in hell right now. But you know what? Thankfully, it is a hell that, unfortunately, at this point, I know all too well. Because while I wore the blue and gold at Notre Dame, we had fun home losses on senior day to Syracuse and UConn. We let Tulsa come into our house in Brian Kelly's first year and beat us in South Bend. So, unfortunately, I know all about the dreaded letdown game and what goes on there. I'm disappointed because we know what was in front of this team potentially, and still with the schedule that they had laid out after the big win on the road at Texas A&M to start the season. But, guys, at this point, it's one of those things where now the noise is going to quiet down a bit for this Notre Dame program. They got embarrassed nationally, and they have an opportunity to go back to work and decide, are they going to go and commit themselves to playing like a football team that's worthy of potentially competing still for a playoff spot or not, because they've still got the schedule. None of that's changed. It's just going to be about them and the work now.
True professional, man. Do you think if they win out, they can still get into CFP?
I do. A lot of it's going to depend on other stuff, because the strength of schedule is a factor in this case. And for Notre Dame, very little margin of error. It was a close loss, albeit to a group of 5 opponent, but you look, Louisville could be pretty highly ranked when they play. Who knows what Florida State's going to be by then? If USC maintains their status as a top 10 team, they've got them at the end of the season as that final note before we go into conference championship weekend. So there's potential, and in the 12-team playoff, there's so much that we don't know about what the committee is going to value with this time around. So they've still got plenty laid out before them, and they've got to make a decision about, they failed the test, as Marcus Freeman's talked about, in response to handling success. Now they got to go out there and try and pass the test on how to handle failure and still keep 2 hands on the wheel.
All right, we're done.
Bump was looking forward to talking to you about this, Mike. We'll get to the NFL now, although obviously always good to talk to you about college football in general. I'm going to start with the Seahawks defense. Mike McDonald was brought in to fix exactly that, and they certainly looked improved, granted, against the Broncos. Tell me what you thought of Denver-Seattle's Week 1 matchup.
Yeah, I thought right off the bat, secondary looked awesome. Like, I'm partial, speaking to Domers, to Julian Love already, but I really think that when they signed into that extension this offseason, I remember talking with Mina Kimes about this, had to be an indication that they clearly liked the role that he could play in Mike McDonald's defense. Maybe not quite Kyle Hamilton-esque to go with his Notre Dame brother, but maybe more Geno Stone. High-level guy, get his hands on a lot of football. Very few guys fitting that physical profile that Kyle brings to the table. I thought the secondary was dialed in, tackled extremely well, which you guys know, rare in week one across the league, considering how the league doesn't hit during camp anymore. And then as the game went on, you saw Byron Murphy flash. You saw Leonard Williams flash in terms of the defensive tackles that, remember, Mike McDonald's defense known for a lot of things, but we talked a ton about that spine, and seeing those guys perform the way they did up front especially, I thought warmed my heart as the game went along and really allowed them to disrupt that Denver offense led by a rookie quarterback they took plenty of advantage of.
Mike, you played in the trenches, man, and that the trenches hurt. I felt like the Seahawks this weekend. Connor Williams played great. I was surprised, man, coming off a knee surgery, played the whole game. He looked awesome, but they're still trying to find the right combinations, man. What'd you see with that offensive line?
Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a struggle, especially with Ryan Grubb and a lot of what he wanted to do on some of those empty sets on longer downs and distances, on money downs, and they just were not able to hold up in the ways they're going to need to if that's going to be a viable part of their offense. Outside of, you mentioned the center spot and left tackle where we know Charles has it held down, everything else right now seems like it was a bit of a head scratcher. I know you were dealing with, second and third guys over on the right side, and no group in the NFL has got second and third tackle depth that they can really call on, but they're going to have to figure out ways. And I think they did later in this game. Some of their 11 personnel runs, some things they allowed to do to let them go and lean on that Broncos defense a bit in the run game to try and offset that for the time being, because we saw really until Geno took off for that long scramble run, he looked uncomfortable in the pocket because of that. And so I think they're going to have to find ways to offset that early, make defenses and pass rushes think a little more, because the offensive line itself, I don't think, is in a position yet to hold up the way they need to.
Hey, Mike, one of the most common questions we've been getting all week long is, okay, is this the Seahawks defense being genuinely improved, or is it just Bo Nix having an awful start as a rookie? And I know that Bo Nix had completed air yard was 5.3 per attempt, just a crazy low number. But what'd you make of his day overall?
Yeah, you know what? It was one of those things. I heard the way people talked about the Bo Nix performance, and then I went back and watched it, and it didn't quite seem as dire. Don't get me wrong. All of the rookie quarterbacks struggled to an extent. I mean, hell, the number one overall pick threw for 93 yards this weekend against the Titans defense that's new and reformed under the same sort of lineage. And I looked at it and said, all right, there was some stuff there that was encouraging when he was able to get the ball out in time. Sean Payton did present a lot of formations, do a lot of things to help his rookie quarterback out. And then he went out there and made throws into windows that you just can't make at this level. The speed of the game and the way the windows closed clearly was something he wasn't ready for yet. But I wasn't totally ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater in this performance. It was a quintessential rookie performance. All the guys that we saw start this weekend as rookies kind of had that. Air yards and yardage in general, passing-wise, down across the league. So I think it's twofold. It is the Seahawks defense no doubt improved. Schematically, what Mike McDonald presents is nightmare stuff for a rookie. And on the other side, you had a guy in Bo Nix who was the last of the quarterbacks taken in the first round and one that people had the most questions about and probably showed some of that, but not in a way that to me felt totally damning just yet.
Mike, what was the most impressive thing about McDonald this weekend? I know it's hard, right? We're not on the headsets with him, but this is his team, and they saw some adversity, found a way through. What impressed you the most about his debut?
I think a lot of the adjustments that they made as the game went along, right? It didn't start perfect for them. Obviously, field position was a nightmare in the first half of this game. I haven't seen a team take two safeties in the same quarter in God knows how long, so that was bizarre. And to have all that go on against an opponent led by a rookie quarterback and to feel that strain and to go in at halftime and come back out and say, all right, we're going to change some things up and get to more 11 personnel and some man runs and do some things with tight end on that side of the ball. Hey, defensively, we're going to stick to our principles and try and present even more to the young quarterback and get our hands on a few balls and maybe even if should taken more away. I think seeing that from a first-time head coach now and one who's replacing a legend in Pete Carroll, I think the tendency can be sometimes to come in and try and be somebody else. And Mike McDonald, who comes from the Harbaugh tree and is used to the intangibles of coaching, seeing those on a day-to-day basis. I think so far we've seen he's come in, he's by all accounts been himself. He's a great leader according to the players that have played for him, and he was able to go out and weather the early storm and make the adjustments and not panic during game one.
Mike Golick Jr., one half of Gojo and Golick, DraftKings Network, on with us right now. Mike, I'm going to bounce around to a couple more games here, and I'm going to start with Monday night's matchup. The last game on the slate, obviously, between the Jets and the 49ers. A surprise that Christian McCaffrey didn't play in this one, and yet it didn't matter because Mason went out 147 yards. 49ers blow the doors off the Jets. I expected more from the Jets defense. Were you surprised at all by New York's performance?
I was a little bit, yeah. I mean, by success rate defensively against the run, the Jets were the fifth best defense in football last year. The problem is the 49ers were the second best offense in terms of rushing success last season. And this is the one where you got to tip the cap to Kyle Shanahan, who, listen, knows Robert Saleh's DNA incredibly well. Obviously, a ton of familiarity there with what can hurt his style of defense, even with all those great players. And credit to Jordan Mason, who it wasn't like a total shock during 49ers camp. He had been the guy running with the ones. He had been a guy they had been excited about this season. He's certainly not Christian McCaffrey, and some things came off the play calling menu when you have CMC out of the game. But this offensive line, the play caller, all the shifts and motions, I think only the Dolphins used more motion before the snap than the 49ers this first weekend in the NFL. All of that, plus the O-line playing well, got them some great cracks at it. So I still think this Jets defense is going to be really good, but Kyle Shanahan against any of the guys that have been disciples under him, probably going to be a bad time for most of those dudes.
Week one is always crazy, right? You don't know. There's only a few things that you know for sure, at least over the past few years, that the Niners are going to come out and look good, and maybe the Baltimore Ravens. I'm looking at this New England and the Cincinnati Bengals matchup, and it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. When you look at what New England was able to do to the Bengals, what stood out to you, and what type of challenge will they give the Hawks?
Ran the rock on them. Again, this is a Bengals defense that obviously, we were so used to for so long just being like, oh, Lou Anarumo coaches the Bengals defense. They're great. It'll all go well. And then somewhere along the lines last year, they stopped tackling at a high level. The secondary was mixed up, and it kind of had a trickle-down effect on everything. And I think – looking at the offseason, people thought, all right, you sign Geno Stone, you get Von Bell back there, maybe it'll help everything out. And Sheldon Rankins, who they brought in the D-line, awesome player, was a huge help with Houston last year, but not necessarily the run stuffer. Some of their draft picks, the young guys that were expected to help with that, not available yet. And so I think all of that has me concerned because New England can't do much else besides that, but they were able to still have success doing the obvious thing, giving Ramondre Stevenson touches. Now you're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs that not only have the offensive line and running back room committed to running the rock, but can do all those things off it, can make nightmare matchups in the middle of the field with Rashee Rice and that receiving core, and have speed to burn again now. So it's the usual slow start for Cincinnati. I can't panic because that's kind of what they do, but it certainly is concerning to see the defense coming out of the gate still looking a lot like last year's unit.
What was your biggest surprise from week one?
I mean, it's probably them to start, but I would say, too, the Jacksonville Jaguars coming out so hot against the Miami Dolphins. Now, we come to find out that there were a lot of guys, important guys on that team that still had big games that had quite a morning in the lead up to there with Tyreek Hill being detained and, Calais Campbell involved in that, Jonnu Smith, and all those guys, understandably, I'm sure, rattled coming off that moment, something that, not many of us can put ourselves in the position of, but man, you see the body cam footage and some really frightening stuff that they went through. And so you can understand a bit of a slow start there, but it was some of the things, and credit to Jacksonville's defense up front. It looks like that D-line is going to be able to play. They got pushed around a little bit along the lines of scrimmage in a way that I think is going to make a lot of us worry because that's the thing in January and February football that this Miami Dolphins iteration has had some trouble with.
The Rams, man, they're struggling right now. It's tough for them to lose Puka Nacua, but last year Puka stepped in when Cooper was out and did his thing, but it feels a bit different this time. They lose a close one to the Lions. What are your thoughts on the Rams?
Yeah, listen, I know there's going to be no love lost, from listeners up here and everyone excited about the Seahawks season, but as a football fan, we're all worse for not having Puka Nacua on the field. The guy is Danny Rojas in pads. He has an unbelievable zest for the game, and it's palpable, and it's fun to watch. So certainly disappointed for that, but, that's just the tip of the iceberg. They were already on backup offensive tackles on one side because of injury, on the other side because of suspension. Steve Avila, their great interior offensive lineman in his second year, down with a knee injury now for a couple of weeks. And so that foundation in front of Matthew Stafford, who was still able to, the connection with him and Cooper Kupp, the play calling with Sean McVay, still go and put on a show in Sunday Night Football. But, man, that kind of hero ball for a quarterback his age, I just don't think is sustainable over the long run of the season, even if, hey, the young guys on defense, especially up front, showed very well for themselves early against a really good Lions offense.
Hey, Bump and I talked on Monday and Tuesday about some of the storylines outside of Seattle that we were most interested in. And for Bump, it was like the dumpster fire that is the Carolina Panthers. He can't turn away. And for me, it's the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. I mean, I like the way Kevin Clark framed it as it would have been an insane or even bad trade when we thought Deshaun was good, and he has not looked it. What do you think happens there in Cleveland? And I don't mean in terms of like whether or not, a contract situation is worked out. I mean, just in terms of whether Deshaun ever figures it out.
Oh, I think we're pretty far past that now of him figuring it out as a player, and especially now with new allegations of sexual assault knocking at his door, reminding us exactly what's gone on in his personal life as his own doing during the last number of years. Combine that with the injuries that we've seen on field and just the complete failure of him and Kevin Stefanski to find a way to gel him into this offense and have him be cohesive with these weapons. And you combine that with, looking elsewhere on the Browns roster, your top, 2-3 tackles coming off of knee injuries from last season, your offensive line coach, Bill Callahan, one of the best in the league, gone, no Nick Chubb yet for a little bit still. So all of those things around him is a fractured foundation for a quarterback who already seems like he's just lost any semblance of the player he was.
Speaking of quarterbacks, is there any quarterback, maybe you already talked about the young guys, is there someone like in the middle tier of the quarterback world that you feel like is capable of having a big year after watching him week one?
I bought a lot of stock in the Arizona Cardinals this offseason. And through one half in Buffalo, it looked like that was going to pay some dividends there. Now, a little concerned by some of the quotes surrounding Marvin Harrison Jr., who only had 3 targets and 1 catch in that game. And Kyler Murray said, it's not my job to just feed him the ball, which my brother in Christ kind of like,
what do you mean
I'd like it to be your job. Trey McBride is an awesome tight end, and it was great to see him have all that success last year, but they brought you the surest ready-made wide receiver coming out of college football last year. I would probably try and force him the ball a little bit, considering you've lived life without a cavalcade of weapons there for a while now. So I still want to believe, based off what we saw at the beginning there, that the Cardinals, with a healthy Kyler Murray now, who had a full offseason in this system, can go out and make some things happen. And we got a little bit of an early look at that in Buffalo.
He is Mike Golic Jr. Follow him at Mike Golic Jr. on X.com, co-host with Golic on Gojo and Golic. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
See ya. All right, quickly, Hawks Live is back. You can join Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer tomorrow starting 7 p.m. at Bellevue Square Center Court for a live broadcast and preview of this week's upcoming game against the New England Patriots, plus a visit from a Seahawks player and the chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Seahawks take on the Dolphins September 22nd back here at Lumen Field. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m., Bellevue Square Center Court. It's free. Go do some shopping, grab a snack, show up, watch Bump and Paul. You can learn more at seattlesports.com/events. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game. With former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, though the offense gave us the feel of a team trying to figure themselves out early in the game, what's a stat that shows the Hawks played with more discipline than we thought?
I know it feels bad, right? It feels really bad. That offense did not get going until the second half. But it was assignment errors. It wasn't like they're out there playing recklessly. And the stat that shows up is only 6 penalties, and all of them were made by the offense. You got a false start, a couple holdings, false start, defensive pass or offensive pass interference. We get all of that, man. So I look at that stat and I go, there's something that you can hold on to, because we're used to these Pete Carroll teams just having 10 to 12 penalties over 100 yards, and Pete Carroll coming up to the podium and saying we got to correct these things. But no, that's not the case with this team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, man. So the defense side of the ball, they were clean. Offense, you got some things to clean up. But holding can be fixed. One of them was desperation. You're backed up, and you don't want your quarterback to get a sack. You tug at a guy's shoulder pass, you're done. A couple of them were false starts. LaVisca Chenault to start the game had a false start there. He's just getting settled in. You got Anthony Bradford with a false start. So these are correctable things. It's not like they're horrendous penalties. They will hurt you later on in the season, especially when you're in a close game. But look, 6 penalties, I accept. Let's just get the offense rolling next week.
Second down. It's a Michael Bumpus PSA. What's a statement you want to make about the defense that's an overreaction, but you haven't been able to say it about this team in a long time?
Listen, guys, week 1 is in the books.
State of the Union.
You got to forget what happened last week, but you don't at the same time. Because right now, your Seattle Seahawks defense, they are a top 10 defense.
Let's go.
6th overall, giving up 231 yards. 4th against the pass. 9th against the run. 12th in points per game. Let's get it. I have not been able to say that since you and I started this lovely program, the Bump and Stacy Show. This is our 3rd season together.
Yeah.
Have not been able to say that. I've been with the Seahawks on the pre- and post-game show for 7-8 seasons now. Maybe said it once or twice. It's been a long time. Yes, it is week 1. I understand that, but this is my overreaction. I don't know if I'll be able to say that again. Hopefully I am. I believe that this Hawks team could be, and we were just asking them to be middle of the pack, around 15, 16, and you might be okay. But to start off the way that they have is encouraging. Yes, they played against the Denver Broncos with a rookie quarterback and receivers who probably wouldn't be number ones anywhere else. Maybe a couple spots, but not with the elite teams. But they took care of business in the style points. From the uniforms to the way they played, everything was nice out there. Another thing, can we just make those the permanent uniforms?
Please.
They look so
They're so clean.
good. It's crazy, man. Throw the white ones in there too. But yeah, you got a top 10 defense, Seattle.
You know it's good when you've got people from other teams going, dang.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Clean.
I'm not going to lie.
Reek wasn't excited enough for me though. Remember we had him on the huddle?
I think Reek's energy level off the field is from a 1 to a 3. On a 10 scale.
On the field,
and not in a
turns
bad, like a bad mood way, in a chill way.
Yeah.
Like, shoot.
Shoot.
That's Reek. That's peak excitement.
He said, shoot, we
That's-
won
yeah.
last year.
Reek finding $100 on the ground. Man, that's crazy.
Well, also, $100 ain't nothing.
That's
to
nothing to
Reek.
Reek. That's nothing. Third down. How would you describe the first 4 weeks of the season for the Seahawks?
It's like flow, you know?
From Progressive?
Progressive.
No.
It's flow. That's what this season schedule is. I like the way that is set up for these guys because you got to see what you're made of against a rookie quarterback and an okay team. They're rebuilding, and it gets a bit tougher. It didn't look like the second week would be as tough as it might be because we didn't know what the Patriots were going to be. But they ran the football. They have a veteran quarterback over there. They should be better than the Broncos. And then you say, all right, defense. What have you done the first 2 weeks? Now you're really going to be tested. You got Reek Hill. You got Waddle. We'll see if Mostert and all those guys are available. But the Dolphins will test you defensively. And then the 4th week, you got the all-around Lions. I know they barely beat the Rams, but the Lions find ways to win. They're picked to go to the conference championship. When you talk to a lot of the experts around the country, it's a flow-type schedule. It's progressive. And then you get the Giants. You don't assume anything, but, you like your chance to get the Giants. Then it picks back up with the 49ers. It's set up for this team to have nice progress, take the right steps forward, correct some things, and hopefully when they finish this 4-game run, they're at least 3-1. If they can do that, I like their chances to 9-10 wins.
4th down. Let's take a look back. Reviewing the film. Who played better than you initially thought for the Seahawks against the Broncos?
Every reaction that we had and that other people had about this team was focused on the DBs and the linebackers. I sprinkled in Cat Williams because he made a big play on Bo Nix that forced him to throw the ball up, and Julian Love comes down with the football. And initially I thought, man, where was Boye Mafe? I didn't see much of him. But then you go and watch the film. X is popping with his highlight reels when it comes to rushing the passer. And you see he was just fine, and he's going to be okay. That was his first game, his first taste of real NFL action, and he's going to do nothing but grow from there. I love the intensity that he played with. He looked good on the stunts. He took on the double teams. He was where he was supposed to be. It's only a matter of time before he has that big breakout game. So you might not have noticed him. And I was up in the booth talking to the guys, and we didn't really notice him either.
Yeah.
But you watch that film, that all 22, 91's going to be all right.
If they really tap into a special talent on the defensive line, that's such a huge shift and a tip of the cap to John Schneider that he really deserves, because they've tried but not done it there. And it's
Right.
one thing I'll say about the Seahawks is I can be critical of draft misses and I can be critical of free agent misses and trade misses. They've swung for, they have tried with a lot of things. The Jamal Adams trade, you can hate on it later. They tried to get a playmaker to make themselves a Super Bowl team. And with the defensive line, it's like trying when they know they needed the pieces, and then they changed their philosophy and approach, and let's see if it works with Murphy. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Mike McDonald spoke with reporters earlier today. We'll tell you everything he had to say next.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
How do you feel like you can manage that as D coordinator and head coach?
I have to stay present, especially when we're on defense. I got to put the defensive coordinator hat on, and then when we get into certain situations, you're kind of wearing both. Our defensive staff does a great job of making adjustments and talking to the guys and getting things fixed, and then I can kind of hop back and forth, but then, you're back to managing the game. If you're juggling, I think we can pull it off.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Are you interested in investing in real estate in the greater Seattle market, but don't want to manage properties, develop real estate, or sign on debt? Hi, it's Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital, based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 15 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Find out why over 800 local investors have invested over $200 million in our Legacy family of funds. Legacy Northwest Fund returned over 12% in both 2007 and 2008. Are you looking at diversification opportunities, especially with what's happening in the market this year? Get in touch with us today. Legacy's family of funds has a limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or legacyg.com. That's legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investment performance based on average return of LFO1, LFO2, and LSF from 2007 through the date of calculation and after deduction of fees and expenses. Legacy family of funds investments are available to accredited investors only.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
John here with Happy Hauler. Furniture and household items you plan to throw away? We'll take them and prioritize donating and recycling, keeping items out of the landfill. Happy Hauler is Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Bring your whole crew to the game with the Mariners Suite at T-Mobile Park. Whether you're planning a special birthday party for friends and family or a company outing for up to 400 coworkers, there's no better spot for an unforgettable experience. Enjoy the suite life with premium catering, VIP parking, private Skybridge entry, and more. Plus, season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve your suite today at mariners.com/suites.
And the pitch up the middle, JP! Wow! What a play! Game over!
Hello?
Hey, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. Did you know we've got you fully covered?
I've taken a beekeeping. I'm always covered.
I'm talking the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage at up to half the cost.
Same honey, half the work?
Exactly.
Sweet.
Just call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob. Seahawks Insider. Brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks came up with 2 turnovers on Sunday, and according to NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah, it could have easily been 4. He joined Brock and Salk for his Wednesday segment this morning and broke down how Mike McDonald's defense causes confusion for a quarterback.
There's going to be, a mystery of who's coming, who's dropping, what roles are assigned, and then they're going to match their coverages on the back end with what you're doing. What it does is it really does allow your players that can run to play extremely fast, and it speeds up the quarterback. And I think if you watch not only with Bo Nix, and if you watch the Ravens, you watch Michigan previously, they have a way of speeding up quarterbacks because of the uncertainty they create at the snap.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
If you're looking for fun, breathtaking views and outdoor dining, Snoqualmie Casino's the place for you. It's Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino. No matter if it's a meeting like I've done, a night out with friends, a big date night with my wife, I know Snoqualmie Casino has it all. Plus, they open their outdoor dining, so come enjoy dinner overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood offer outdoor dining, so grab a seat and dig in. You can browse the menus at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Rick Riz here with Luke Wilson, a local owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. With your help and the Improve Your Play program, Pella has chosen a local youth athletic program to receive a $5,000 grant. Luke, who's the lucky winner this week?
Rick, we could not be more excited to announce Pac West Little League as one of 2 winners of this $5,000 grant.
Thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington for helping our local youth thrive.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Let's talk uniform combinations for 30 seconds.
That was the worst take ever.
We had a listener. I got to make sure. I need to ask this listener to clarify. Well, I need to ask listeners 2 things. Number 1, to get your questions in for what I need to know, which is coming your way in 15 minutes. Any question, text it now, 866-979-3776. We were talking about the throwbacks, and you said, let's just make these the regular uni. Like, petition to make throwbacks weeks 1 through 17. RJ in Maple Valley said, I would be sad to see those as the regular uniform, because I also think those uniforms, I think the throwbacks with the other helmet, maybe the regular helmet, would be good. I like our home uniforms better, and the electric green, the Color Rush green, action green, is great for Thursday, Sunday, or Monday night games.
RJ, respectfully, you sound like you wear cargos.
How dare you?
With a Hawaiian shirt open with a tank top and thong sandals on in the winter.
RJ likes to party.
In the winter.
The only thing I'll disagree with RJ, I don't like the helmet combo with the throwbacks. Action green is a horrible color, and I will say it to the Seahawks' face.
Sometimes I like the ugly because it just pops, you know?
No, it makes the field look dirty. It's too green. Like, the green of the action green, no matter the amazing field condition of the field looks dirty because it's a duller green.
But every Seattle team has that uniform, the green.
The action green, but the all over action green, the all over.
You're right.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it, I said.
Get you a action green jersey for your birthday.
Absolutely
with
not.
a 12 on the back.
Absolutely not.
They don't make the
Absolutely not.
jerseys for us anymore.
Yeah.
We are out of the Target demo.
Moving on, Mike McDonald spoke with reporters earlier today. Let's figure out. I'm going to start with some injury updates. He was asked about Uchenna Nwosu, how much longer he'll be out, and also an update on George Fant.
Uchenna will be out this week, but the rest of the guys coming off the last game, we'll kind of take it day by day here with the reports and everything. But yeah, Uchenna will be out.
Will they practice today, Walker and Fant?
We'll see.
So day-to-day with Walker and Fant.
I've never been more excited off of bad news that Uchenna's not going to play.
Why?
Because that defense looked like that without him.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Without him.
That's a really
Like,
good point.
Wait till 10 get out there. Goodness gracious, Uchenna. Hey, take your time, Uchenna, because you're going to take this defense to another level.
That's actually a really good point. Okay, the challenges New England's run game presents us.
It's about space and angles, so you have to understand, the angle that you need to take, especially with, with the runners that New England has. And it's about getting multiple hats to the party because, they're big physical backs that fall forward. And there's a huge difference between making contact a yard or two past the line of scrimmage and falling forward for 4 versus making contact there. And now there's multiple guys at the party. And New England does a good job of kind of getting a hat for the hat. So there's a lot of one-on-one matchups that are going to be happening that we're going to have to win in order to have success.
I have one more on New England's run game. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Because it's probably more interesting for you. Okay, I'm going to play this one.
They have more schemes than just the duo play and things like that. I think some of the front structures that Cincinnati was giving them and the success they had with that play probably lent to more frequency and led to that. So it's a good job by them. They're a sound football team. Everybody knows that they're all on the same page. Just like they are on defense, they're square at the point of attack. They're coming right at you. So, there's not a lot of secrets to what they're doing, but it's very well designed. It's just it's good football.
Okay, combine 2 cuts there on New England in general, the challenges they present, and then on New England running inside zone so much in week 1. Throwing it your way, what are you taking from McDonald's answers?
I'm taking that the big boys got to come to play today or on Sunday. The guys on that defensive line. This is their game to shine and show what they can do because if they're able to clog those gaps. So when you face a team that runs a lot of zone, all that means is you're going to see double teams and guys. Zone is such a downhill run right now because you're not down blocking and then waiting for a guard or a tight end or tackle to pull around and hit the gap. You're stepping forward into the direction the run is going. It's zone right, it's forward and right now. So you're going to take on these double teams and things might happen a bit quicker in the zone scheme. So big boys, Big Cat, Jay Reed, Murphy. Did Cam Young play last game?
Did he?
Hankins.
I know Hankins for sure.
Get ready because this is your time to shine, especially against the zone team.
Good question. I need to look at those snap counts. You want to know what he had to say about Reek Woolen?
Yes.
I felt like he was involved throughout the whole game. Like you felt Reek throughout the whole game. It didn't feel like he wasn't like some lone soldier out there just kind of hanging out. Like you felt him in the run game, felt him getting to the ball in the zones, and he was active, with the guys that he was asked to guard. So I thought he did a great job.
I agree. What did you see from Reek in this one?
I saw him be the supreme athlete with a lot more understanding of where he needs to be and what chances he can take. As a DB, there are only so many times you can roll the dice because typically the ball is being thrown and there's not much help behind you. Maybe you have safety help if it's a cover 2 or deep zone or whatnot. But most of the time, that's where the big yards after the catch happen because they catch the football and guys have to rally over there. It never felt like Reek wasn't where he was supposed to be or he took an unnecessary risk. The couple risks he did take, there was a pass breakup and there was an interception. So it feels like he's comfortable with his ability and he's comfortable in this scheme. And I think I saw PFF had Devin Witherspoon and Reek Woolen ranked out of the top 4 or 2 of the highest graded corners this week.
Major. Let's talk about run defense. The Seahawks allowed just 99 yards from the Broncos, and Bo Nix was their leading rusher with about 35. So 64 of those yards came from running backs themselves. Mike McDonald asked about the Patriots' run defense. Keep in mind, as part of this answer, Ken Walker's week to week. And obviously, the run game offensively was a huge part for how Seattle got back into this one and eventually pulled ahead. What's it going to look like in week 2?
People have different philosophies on how you play the run. I think our philosophy and New England's philosophy is pretty similar about trying to build a wall, having knockbacks, staying square, having edges. Some people kind of opt for hey, let's destroy, the line on the way to the QB, so to speak, and then let the second level and third level kind of clean it up. It's good. There's a lot of good run defenses that do that. Our philosophies are kind of on that other end of the spectrum.
Particularly for New England's side, it feels like this is going to be an old school matchup. Run the ball, play sound defense.
Yeah, and then get some play action going. And I think that's what New England is going to try to do as well. They leaned on the run heavily this past week, and that naturally opens up the play action game. I don't want to sleep on Jacoby Brissett, though. He's got some big games in him. We've seen him. He's started, 70-plus games in his league. He's not new to the block. He's not new to this game. But I think both teams are going to try to accomplish the same things. Run the football, hope to pop a couple, and then get the play-action game going. It's a perfect recipe for a older backup in Jacoby Brissett and an older starter in Geno Smith. So this will be a more physical game for the Seahawks than it was last week with the Denver Broncos. Defensively, they were physical, but offensively now, the bigs got to get going. Receivers have to block, and I think the tight ends might be crucial in this one too.
Why the tight end's crucial in this one?
Because when it's physical and you're able to run the football, or you're trying to run the football, tight ends are keys. They influence the flow of the linebackers. It's easier to pop them up over the top in tight end releases.
All right, you guys, get your questions in for What I Need to Know. Wrapping up the show by answering your biggest questions. 866-979-3776.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
I thought it might be the best tackling performance I've ever witnessed in watching an NFL game by the Seahawks. I don't know that there was 2, 3, 4 yards after contact in that game by the Broncos. From the Broncos' perspective, it was one of the most pathetic performances I've watched. And at the same time, I was marveling at the Seahawks' ability to tackle, the way they broke on balls, the things they broke up.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, this is Stacey Rost, and if you're looking for top-notch service for your plumbing, heating, and air needs, look no further than Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. For over 25 years, Ben's has been providing 5-star service to our community. Their team of experienced professionals is dedicated to making sure you get the best service possible. Here's what that looks like. It means no pressure, no gimmicks, just honest, reliable work. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, Ben's has got you covered. And with their no-pressure sales approach, you can rest easy, knowing you're only getting the services you actually need without any unnecessary upsells. So whether it's a leaky faucet, a broken heater, or an AC on the fritz, trust the experts with over a quarter century of excellence. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air today at 206-789-5353, 206-789-5353, or benz.plumbing. Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where 5-star service meets no pressure sales.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries' no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
At Shane Company, we'll help you design an engagement ring as unique as your love story. We have the widest selection of diamonds and gemstones for you to choose from, and you can compare them side by side right here in our store. Only at Shane Company can you sift through exquisite diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in a variety of shapes and sizes. We'll help you create your dream engagement ring no matter your price range. Choose the ring setting that speaks to your style, from classic to modern to vintage. We offer so many ways to personalize your ring. Pick your favorite center stone, add a decorative crown and a custom engraving, or select a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, our jewelers know how much your ring means to you. They hand-set each center stone with precision and pride in our jeweler's workshop, so you can feel confident knowing your ring is crafted with the greatest care and comes with an unmatched free lifetime warranty that lets you know we'll always be here for you. Your love story deserves to shine bright. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends. And explore the lively nightlife scene. The dining district at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
Stacey Rost here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease using acoustic wave therapy. No pills and no shots. But it's not our success stories that separate us from the other clinics. It's how we interact with our patients. From your first call, our medical staff will take the time to answer your questions, whether it's about your ED, how our treatment works, or even about the cost. Our goal is to inform and educate you so you're comfortable when you come in for your first visit. So if you're tired of frustrating nights, you're ready to get off Viagra and put an end to your ED or Peyronie's disease, stop living with this problem and do something about it. Give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Again, 866-979-3776. What I Need to Know. Is Caddyshack the greatest sports movie of all time, or is it disqualified because golf isn't a sport? Sorry, this says, sent by the guy who declined an invitation to go to the Masters golf course because I don't golf.
How dare you? How dare you disrespect the golf world like that?
Well,
Caddyshack is not one of the greatest. It's not the greatest sports movie of all time, but it's definitely a sports movie, and you are ridiculous for not going to the Masters.
What's the greatest sports movie of all time?
Oh, man, I got several. You just
what
saw
are like
one.
3? The program? I hated it.
Really?
I didn't hate it. It was horrible acting. The quarterback.
Everything from
I'm
the
sorry,
90s is going to be
the
horrible.
Heisman quarterback candidate is definitely not 6'2". Has a couple mechanical issues back there in the pocket, and is 33 years old. I looked it up.
Stacy.
Also, the best guy on the team, the best teammate, the player who works the hardest, ends up never playing football again because of a leg injury.
This is real life.
And in the end is just at home with his mom. He's never going to make enough money to get out. It was horrible. It was heartbreaking.
Because you want a Disney fairy tale ending?
I mean, I guess Halle Berry ended up with what's-his-face, and they were happy.
Exactly.
Also, really, he had the test score in his helmet and took it out and then told her dad, I got a better score than you.
Yeah.
That was bold.
It was.
I watched the
that
program
movie,
for the first
like
time.
the aesthetics of that movie, like the buildings and stuff and all that. That was part of my decision making going to Wazoo because it felt like that.
I
movie.
could totally see that. It's very fall there. Okay. What I need to know, piggybacking off of yesterday's What I Need to Know when texters were making fun of Matt for being very nerdy. They said, Bump, what nerdy thing do you unapologetically like or do as a hobby?
I've watched some like survival, wilderness type stuff all the time. Like when I fly every weekend, I download episodes of Alone, or just things of people.
Naked and Afraid.
That's more.
You don't watch that?
That's I watch it, but that's more like.
Bump's like, I'm a
gimmicky to me.
serious survivor.
Why they got to be naked? They don't have to be naked.
Look, it's to make it even more difficult on them.
Yeah, and why don't they ever make some dang clothes? Like, just cover up a little bit,
Speaking of survival shows, Stacey, 1 week from today.
Survivor's back, baby.
Let's go.
That's the real survival show.
Yeah.
What I need to know, the Munich game is the Carolina Panthers against the New York Giants. Do you think Germany will file a diplomatic protest at getting stuck with this dumpster fire?
They're going to boo. Germans know football. They will boo. And I hope they boo extremely loud.
Can you imagine?
Munich is such a fun place, man. If you can get there, please go. Munich is dope.
What I need to know, it's Sunday and you have the day off. You're getting ready to watch football all day. What's your drink and food of choice?
I'm waking up to some Bloody Marys. Bloody Marys and some pancakes. By midday, I'm shifting over. I'm shifting over to what do you call those things? The coffee martinis or whatever. Espresso martinis. Boom, espresso martinis.
It's very Vanderpump of you.
To end it, we got some whiskey going and fried everything.
Love an espresso martini. I'm starting, this is literally what I'm doing on Sunday because there's a 10 a.m. game. Here's why I love 10 a.m. games. I let myself get whatever breakfast pastries I want because I have to get up early.
Nice.
So I get a coffee and I'm going to get a pumpkin scone.
Of course you are.
That felt like hate. What I need to know. Let's see. Bump. What I need to know. Do you have the Cougars beating the Huskies this weekend and running the table to the college football playoff?
I have them beating the Huskies this weekend. And when they beat the Huskies this weekend, we shall be ranked. We shall be ranked. And do I have them running the table to get to the college football playoffs? It's going to be tough because Boise State in that run game is going to be ridiculous. We all know Fresno State gives us fits.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll run the table, but I think if they don't make the college football playoff, they won't be as far away from it as people think.
Now, are you sure? Because this is what you said last year.
I want UW to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
That's crazy how you guys found that sound. I remember
that. You guys are grimy.
Yeah.
That's
grimy.
That's wild.
I mean, you said it.
You said
to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
You can hear it clear as day.
That's what Matthew's doing. Matthew, did you do that, or was that you, Curtis?
What do you mean Matthew's
that's not
doing?
Audio editing.
That's God.
That's exactly what came out of your mouth.
I know what I heard.
You were the one that said it.
Yeah, you were the one that said it. What I need to know, why aren't the Dogs ranked?
Because they're booty cheeks on a Saturday afternoon.
There's like two very different competing thoughts from Michael Bumpus.
Let me put my fan hat on. My fan hat, man. UW ain't play nobody.
Okay.
Weber State, Eastern Michigan, they ain't play nobody.
Okay.
All right. The analyst is they have a very balanced attack. Will Rogers looks pretty good. Coleman can run that rock as well. If they can slow down Mateer, I think they have a chance. But Wazoo has shown that we can do both. So
yeah.
But they're garbage.
253 says, Alone is awesome. That's not nerdy. Okay, nerd. What I need to know, which one of your friends has the most dirt on you?
Edmund Rodriguez. Anything suspect I've ever done in my life, he's been right there with me.
What I need to know. This person just wants to know if you're going to the game. They said, my son and I are sitting up high in section 338, front row along the rail. Are you taking the fam to the game? Go Coug, class of 96.
CW did me dirty. They got me in the studio this weekend.
Wow.
So I will be watching on TV.
Bump, are you hurt or are you injured? Is it one of the greatest lines in a movie ever?
I love that. There's a difference. If you're hurt, rub some dirt on it, get up, walk it off, let's go. If you're injured, I will call your mother and your emergency contact and get you help.
I did like that. I will call your mother and your emergency contact. I did like that line a lot, but I also have one more complaint about the program. Buddy the Elf's dad, what's the actor's name?
Who?
Buddy the Elf's dad.
I don't know.
Anyway, he's the head coach.
Oh,
he's
head
also
coach.
Buddy the Elf's dad.
Yeah. What about him?
Are you seriously calling James Caan Buddy the Elf's dad?
Is he Buddy the Elf's dad?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But it's James Caan.
He's not a believable. Speaking of Caan of a football coach, not super believable as like, I don't get the identity of your program. I'm not buying into your program. I'm not like, I don't know what
Stacey.
your identity is and who you want to
Stacey.
be. Like, you're not selling me on this.
You cannot jump on the sports watching movie wagon late and be this critical.
I'm not being that critical.
Yes,
I said
you
Jerry
are.
Maguire was a delight.
Yeah, you are. But then
I
you
just
talked
had an issue
about
with
his
them not
numbers
knowing
and
who
all
Rod
that stuff.
Tidwell was.
Yeah, you sit there and watch these big lip, big cheeks, BBL.
They're nice
women
ladies.
who married for love. They
And
clearly
money.
married for love.
And money.
And them cry about their latte not tasting
Okay,
the right way.
that's not why they fight. They fight
they're-
because of other things.
They had to lease the car instead of buying it.
No, they're fighting
Come
because,
on,
for
man.
instance, Jen bought a house from one of the other girls on OC, but then her ex-husband, whom she divorced, wasn't making payments on the house, but Jen didn't know that, so now it's ruined Gina's relationship with the realtor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Those are
that's-
real problems.
And that's entertainment.
What I need to know. 866-979-3776. Is there a single scenario where a plain potato chip with no flavor is better than options with flavor?
Yes.
No.
What is it?
Put it on a sandwich.
Yep.
But you don't think that if you made a
Yep.
sandwich, that a flavored potato chip, barbecue, sour cream and
it'd be
onion,
cool, but
jalapeno.
not as
Right.
good as.
Yeah, it goes with more of your sandwich toppings, and especially if it's like a kettle cooked potato chip,
Yeah.
not one of those like wafery Lay's ones. We're talking
Yeah.
Tim's Cascade. Yeah.
Hey, and UW is ranked in the coaches poll, so shut your mouth. Okay? The text me.
All these coaches got their SIDs voting for them.
Yes, they do.
That's how the coaches
Their
poll really
interns.
works. Yeah.
Someone said James Caan died. Have some respect. But he didn't. Did he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did? Oh, that's really sad. I didn't know
You
that.
didn't know his name 5 minutes
But
ago.
you didn't tell me his name until now.
I did.
Okay, well, I said I loved him in other movies. I just
You called
didn't-
him Buddy the Elfstat. He was
He
in
was
The
Buddy the
Godfather.
Elfstat.
I mean, he technically was.
He was though, Matt.
Matt said, put some respect on his
I
name.
know. I will. I think he's a great actor. I've loved him in other movies. I just didn't find him to be the most believable.
It wasn't made. It wasn't made for you.
It wasn't made for me.
Wasn't made for
you know
you.
what? It wasn't made for me. You're right. All right, you guys, that will do it for us. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
I want UW to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
Lies. Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got answers about the linebackers. We certainly got answers about the secondary, the defense as a whole. I felt like we got answers. But the other question mark was the O-line.
After those first two series, if somebody had told you, yeah, K9's going to get 100 yards, no chance. I think there's going to be a lot of repair. I think, and the other thing too is it's a good thing that Charles Cross took that step.
Yeah,
because he really did. He took that step to be a leader and to be the best offensive lineman on that line.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO,